Excellent.
So we'll be going live on YouTube, Twitch, and on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
So
I have friends that do a show in Chicago on Twitch. So I'm starting to learn more about the millions of platforms out there.
So I'm actually a lot more famous on Twitch right now.
Oh, that's great.
I have over 750 followers.
Fantastic.
And I'm a Twitch affiliate. So I get donations. I get paid for the time that I'm on there at a certain point. They can even request certain amounts that they want to do. Subscribers actually pay for being a subscriber on my channel.
Wow.
So that's actually really fun. That's why I'm trying to combine everything that I do into one thing, because I just want to be famous.
Yeah, that's your goal. That's the goal.
That's the goal, is just to be famous.
As many people as possible. Fame turning into money, or just fame?
Clout. I just want the clout.
That's all you want.
I just want to be able to tell people, like, hey, I came from nothing and now I'm something.
Okay.
Which is
you want acceptance then. If I was your psychologist, I would say this is about acceptance.
Tell us more about how you diagnosed me right now.
I think that's what it is. I don't know. That's what I want at times, but it changes.
Really now? How long have you been doing this?
I've been a performer since I was 9.
Whoa.
So it evolves. When you're a kid, you do it for attention. And you continue to do it for attention. But I started performing when I was like 9, 10, something like that. And yeah, you do it because it makes you different and you like. It's just a rush, when you're on stage.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's the rush of like, oh, everyone's looking at me. They think what I'm doing is interesting. This is great. But then it changes. If you're lucky to have whatever, if you hit milestones or goals that you like, and then the event, it changes. It starts to morph a little bit. Then when you get paid to do it professionally, it's not always great, because then you put demands on yourself. Sometimes producers put demands on you, but you put demands on yourself, so then you take less risk because you know what works. So, and then somewhere in there's a through line of, I was a television personality for a while. So the fame thing is interesting.
Okay.
It's very fun.
I like that adrenaline rush of people, like you said, just people watching you, people interacting with what you do.
Yeah.
I first got that experience in music, because I'm a musician.
Okay.
I've been playing guitar for over 15 years now.
Excellent.
I'm telling you, I can shred like Van Halen has no other. Like,
that's your influence.
Yeah.
You do real rock and roll.
Shred guitar.
Okay.
Like
shred.
Yngwie Malmsteen,
Oh, wow.
Joe Satriani, Steve Vai.
Sure.
The shredders, man.
Okay.
That's what I culminate to. And don't get me wrong, learning about this stuff branched me off into loving music, because now I love country, I love hip hop, I love dance, I love 1940s jazz.
Me too.
I love everything.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell just by how it makes you feel with the sound.
Yeah.
And now getting into comedy, that's another avenue too, where I'm just like, holy fuck, it's the way you feel on the inside.
Yes.
You're on
Well,
stage.
then you're pursuing something deeper than I thought. Because when someone says, I'm pursuing fame, I'm always like, eh. But what you're describing is beyond fame. The feeling that you get inside, and then that feeling transfers to an audience in the form of communion.
Okay.
That's what it's about.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be able to entertain people.
Yes.
That's what I say in all my bios and stuff, too. I'm just like a wannabe entertainer, just here to have fun.
No, you're not a wannabe.
I'm a
if you're
wannabe.
doing it, you're one. Now, maybe because you're newer to this venue of entertaining, maybe you can't say you're a professional, but you're not a wannabe. You're doing it.
Yeah.
A wannabe is a person you don't want to be around. That's a shadow artist that says, oh, what do you do? And you go, oh, I do comedy. I'm a comedic actor. I do stand-up. And they go, oh, I've always wanted to do that.
I'm always trying to do something like that.
And then if they're really dark about it, then they'll be like, oh, are you any good? They don't want you to be good because they're too scared to do it themselves. So don't say wannabe. You're doing it.
That's good to know, too, in a sense. But I've always felt that I don't have the clout or the fame to be a entertainer.
I do respect that you're attached to this clout and fame idea, because you're not vague about it.
Oh, dude,
it's very important to you.
I want to be famous, and again, that's why. Like,
what is the ultimate fame dividend for you then? When you're famous, say you have on Twitch, you have 10 million followers. What is the ultimate payoff of that? I mean, it's cool to say you have 10 million followers.
The ultimate,
and you have sponsors.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate.
Yes.
Money.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the money is to give back to my people who helped me get there. One thing that I've actually recently am going to do here now shortly is do stupid YouTube videos where they're like kind of like sketch kind of compilation funny stuff, but actually make them where there's more going on. So this idea that I had was I'm going to just be a nice person and spend my whole paycheck and go to a drive-through.
Okay.
And I'm going to be the car that pays for the person behind me all day.
All day. What do you think that'll cost?
Who knows? I mean, if I spend a whole paycheck worth of money, I'm spending at least $1,000 on a whole day.
Wow. Good
of
What's
work.
the venue? Where are you talking? What kind of place are we going to?
I'm driving down maybe Central, and I'm hitting fast food restaurants.
Okay. Oh, several.
Yes.
Good for you.
So
you're going to go through the drive-through of many places.
Yeah, so I'll drive through Wendy's like 6 times, do that, then be like, hey, we just did Wendy's 6 times. Let's go and do McDonald's 6 times. Do McDonald's 6 times. And throughout the whole day, it ends up equaling 24 hours of me paying for people's food. And not only that, I'll go back around because I'm going to go once or twice, and I'll be like, hey, is somebody else doing what I'm doing? Because have you ever heard of that food chain doing?
Yes, but I feel bad because it happened to me at the Starbucks on Montgomery, and I think the street is Cairo. Because I remember being like, that's a unique sounding street. Okay. I think it's Cairo and Montgomery, over near that Sprouts over there. But here's my thing. The woman in front of me, I noticed she kept checking in with me, like the rearview mirror, and her bumper sticker said something like, every day can be fantastic. That's not what it said, but something like that.
A very positive message.
It's like a nice minivan. And then I was going to use my points, my Starbucks points, to pay for my drink. Yeah. And they go, save your points. The car in front of you paid for your drink. And then I go, oh. But I was so thankful, number one, but I was so taken aback that I didn't realize I could just pay it forward. So I was like, I was kind of stunned, and I go, thank you. And then as I'm leaving and I'm going down, I think it's Cairo or Egypt, whatever the street is, I look and I go, oh, I could have paid for the car behind me. But also, that car had 4 people. So I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be over $50.
I was like, it's a great idea, but 4 people. So here's the thing with your idea, which very respectable. What are you saying? You go, the car behind me, $20. You're leaving $20.
Whatever is like, hey, can I pay for the vehicle behind me? And they're like,
oh, because they already know the total.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
So it has to be the car right behind me. It can't be like, oh, let me pay for the next 3 cars.
What if the car behind you is a bunch of Mormons?
There's
40 people in a Lexus, and you're covering it.
Wouldn't that make great content?
Pretty great. Yeah. But then what? You're going to try to talk to these people, or just
no?
Okay.
I'm just literally
because drive-ins aren't going to let you film anything. You know what I mean?
I'm filming everything from my car of doing the transaction and then driving around. And the guy that's at the window is probably going to be like, "Hey, it's you again." Be like, "Hey, yeah, making a video. So if you want to do something funny, we'll be back another 5 times."
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like
you want to do something funny. Cook something up, Otis. I'll be back in half an hour.
You're not the only one trying to get 1 million followers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I want to be a content creator. I want to be a face that people are like, hey, that guy's interesting. I like his stuff. Let me watch it. Not only do I get to watch it, I might get incentive for watching it.
It's good. Because still, my knee-jerk reaction is fame is an interesting goal. But it doesn't matter because you're doing what good advice you get from really good artists, you're already doing it, which is like, stop saying you want to do stuff, create stuff.
Very true.
Because I'm guilty of this. Everyone's like, oh, I want to be this, or wouldn't it be great if I did 3 movies a year, or whatever. It's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing with your acting to do that
right now? Right.
I'm just waiting for the phone to ring. It's no way to live. There's people like great, like Ira Glass is one of his quotes. He's like, if you want to do something, just do it. Make something. Make a video, paint a painting, You know, that's you're doing it.
Yeah, especially with the avenues there are now. How many social media sites can you just post one video and you might become famous?
There's too many.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
TikTok is the one we're thinking of, right? That's where everything is
right now, yeah. But you still can get Insta famous. I mean, that's why they call it Instagram. So you can get Insta
I'm
famous.
trying to get off all this stuff.
What? You're an entertainer. How are you getting off of this stuff?
But I'm glad. I come from a generation where a lot of my peers feel the same way. I like it. Like, I worked on a TV series this year with a famous actor, and his Instagram is like 5 million people, right?
Yeah.
And he probably posts, not every day, but like 3 times. And he's 10 years older than me. But I still look at that, and I go, no. I don't know.
It doesn't just appeal to you in a certain way?
Maybe it's that problem I said where I'm not creating enough. But no, you know what it is for me? I have an addictive personality. Luckily, not towards drugs or alcohol or anything, but I have an addictive personality where I get on these apps and I will doom scroll, or I will realize I'm scrolling for no reason. I'll realize it and then still scroll for another 15 minutes. So I'm trying to get rid of all of it. Dating apps, Instagram. I keep Instagram and I keep Facebook on my MacBook because one time through MacBook, I got a TV pilot just because the guy only found me on Facebook. Not because I created anything.
No, but still.
He just knew from a friend. He's like, I knew I could get a hold of you on here. And I'm like, damn it. Now I have to keep this stupid platform.
But see, yeah, exactly. If that would have never happened to you, though.
I would have gotten rid of it.
And that's
long time ago.
Imagine the more avenues you can have with
But you don't care. You don't care about Facebook, though, right? Your age, you could care less about Facebook.
I mean, I have it and I use it.
Yeah.
That's technically my main platform when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But now there's so many, it's kind of like a back burner one.
That's blasé, right?
But
people keep it, but I know people that are like, I'm never on there, but I have it.
They say it's mostly for Gen X and millennials.
Oh,
that's the app for them.
Still millennials.
Yes.
They're still in there.
Yeah, they're still in there.
Because I thought you were going to say that's mostly for Gen X and like senior citizens.
And the boomers.
Yeah, the boomers love it. They're just barely getting into it, barely know how to change their cover page.
Come here, I got a picture of Junior on the screen.
Exactly. God bless the boomers.
That's beautiful.
I like Facebook because I'm fortunate. I've traveled and performed a lot, so I can keep in touch with friends in the Philippines or friends in. That's what I love.
Well, okay,
that's what I love.
Back when I was younger, I had a friend. Me and a couple friends started a Facebook group that actually turned pretty famous. It actually
got fame thing again. What was it called?
The Nexus Paradox, and it had 168,000 followers.
Wow!
I was an admin on it because I was one of the first 5 creators of that.
Did you monetize this?
Dude, we had so much great avenue. Okay, that's how a lot of like my Twitch and subscribers from there got really big. Like I would post stuff from my other content on there, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is the admin, and he's actually really cool. Let's see what he's got."
And they'd migrate.
Just they're checking it out. Ends up getting more followers from there. Like that was a group following, but then some of them came to MySpace and they're just like, "Oh, you're your own thing. That's cool. I didn't know you played guitar. I didn't know you played video games."
Is that how you hook them with the guitar? They see you play guitar and they're like, "Damn."
I mean, that is my main skill set.
That's great.
I don't want to brag about it.
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
That's great. How many guitars do you have?
No
one knows your location, right?
At the moment, not at the moment.
Good.
No,
Good.
But at the moment, I have.
You have to be careful in this city of crime.
I actually got robbed.
I don't want to hear. I hate it.
It sucked.
I hate
They
it.
stole all my guitars.
Me too. Oh, not my guitars, but I was brutally robbed. Not. I wasn't there for it. But brutally robbed.
It's horrible. But
why do you think this is?
Because it's more of a
opportunity.
It is. It actually is. It's
poor education.
And they think it's more of like it's an easy incentive to get ahead.
You think so? I don't even think they think that through because I had my computer stolen, passport, my luggage, all taken, and luckily. This nice Good Samaritan said, "I found your journal in a car wash trash can with your passport." And luckily, I needed the passport. I was going to do a gig in a week in, I forget where I was going, Italy or something. But they said, "We found this." So I met them. The woman gave me to it. So I went to that car wash to see if there was anything else. The guy that owned the car wash was a state cop. He had the best security cameras in the business. But here's what sucks. It means nothing.
But still.
But I have footage of the people.
Yeah.
And this is why I say there's no thinking involved. All they're looking for is quick transactions, quick cash.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. There's no, like, oh, this is the quickest way to, I can use this equipment. Or this is the quickest way. You know, it's all very cheap. low life thinking.
So I actually got a phone call right now.
Go ahead, take it.
It's going live.
Who is it?
It's going live. We have right now on. Oh, he just hung up. Oh, no fair. It was actually Zach Abeda.
Oh, I love Zach
Yeah, I
Abeda.
could have gave him some shit right now.
I love him. I'm doing a show with Zach Abeda Friday night.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Milwaukee, New Mexico. Milwaukee.
I'm actually from northern New Mexico.
Are you?
Yeah, my grandpa used to always go to that Cities of Gold casino
I've been before.
all the time. So
Is this the one that has a movie studio attached to it now? Too?
I don't think
Maybe
so.
that's Camel Rock.
I thought that was the other one. I thought that's Buffalo Thunder.
Is Cities of maybe
Yeah,
so.
Buffalo Thunder's the big one. That's the big one down there.
Maybe so. I can't wait. Zach is very funny. It's a great lineup. That's Friday night, and then Saturday we're going to the Apothecary Wellness Bar.
Nice.
Santa Fe.
Heck yeah.
That title, it can be nowhere else but Santa Fe.
And it's downtown too. Like
7
right
and
in
9 on the
heart.
plaza.
Dude, that's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about comedy here in Albuquerque? Then, is it a booming spot
I'm
compared to other places?
I don't do as many open mics as I do here. I'm very grateful for open mics in Albuquerque because what I do is I'll work on stuff or I'll mess around with stuff and then I'll take it to paying gigs.
Okay.
You know, outside of the state, far, far from here. But I'm always super grateful for it because there's several in a city this size. I think that's rare. And then you can break down any open mic. I've really enjoyed where you and I've been hanging out, which is the Inside Out.
Oh yeah, that's actually really dope.
The crowd's great.
Yeah.
But your traditional open mic in this town, probably in many towns, is all it is interrupting the evening of several alcoholics. This is my impression of every open mic for a while. Not all of them, but most of them. This is your typical audience member at an open mic. Ready? Here we go. That's it. They don't care where we're there. There's no cover. There's no stakes. When there's no cover charge for a show or an open mic, that means there's no stakes.
Yeah.
The audience has invested nothing. They'll talk as much and as often as they'd like at the bar. They just don't care. If the show was even like $2, it changes the psychology.
Really now?
Then they're invested. Then they're like, well, we can pay $2. Let's pay attention to this. Changes everything.
I've seen it happen a few times too when you see people just walk in. Like it
Yeah.
changes the way that the room vibes and everything. Like
yeah.
obviously they disrupted a little bit, but they're not here for comedy. They literally just saw something going on outside
Right.
and they're like, let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
And that totally changes its whole mood set. Where again, that's so crazy though. Just even paying $2.
It's all about stakes. Comedy's about stakes. It used to be, I don't believe this at all, but for a long time in comedy, these idiots would say, women aren't funny, which is not true. Some of my favorite comedians.
What do they say?
are women.
30% at least?
What's that?
30% at least, right?
Well, they say this, and here's why. It's an old way of thinking
They're
because comedy in the 50s was predominantly male. You had Joan Rivers.
all dominant.
Yeah, you had Joan Rivers. You had Moms Mabley. You had some people, but the reason it was so male oriented and the thinking behind it was, traditionally speaking, we live in a different time now, but the man was considered the breadwinner.
Just to put into context, we actually have somebody who's worked with Charlie Chaplin because I mean he's so old. He's done comedy forever and ever.
Yes,
and
all
ever.
the greats. Charlie Chaplin.
Literally, if Prince were to ask why do doves cry, we just ask Cody.
W.C. Fields. I've worked I used to date Mae West, but
Because you've done a lot. You've been everywhere.
I've had a lot of weird experiences. But when you had the breadwinner, the man was considered the breadwinner in the 50s. Thankfully, that's not the case.
Oh God, no! I don't
Doesn't
think it.
exist.
Not even close to my boss's amount.
Me neither. There's no way. But so he had the most stakes. So comedically, whoever has the most pressure on their life, if you're the breadwinner for a family of 4 and you fall down on a banana peel, that is great because that guy can't fail. So if he falls or he's drunk and he falls down the stairs, hilarious. So that's why this stupid outdated notion of like, well, women aren't funny. Because women didn't have as many women didn't have as many stakes. But now, when I was a kid watching SNL, like all my favorites on the show were the women. So I never had that mentality. So when people say, I go, what are you talking about? And then someone explained it to me. I go, oh, it's just outdated, stupid thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, because I mean, there's been so many times too where I go up and then right after it's a woman, and it kills.
She kills.
And I'm just like,
not all of them. They still have to be funny.
But they have to develop and be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
That's regardless. However you identify.
That's anybody in
he,
comedy.
She, they, whatever. However you identify.
You see this chart right here? This
Yes.
is the pronouns of all male and females, or
Look
any.
at that. They're all spelled out.
Any of them. If you need to find it, it's on that chart, people.
I identify as an asthmatic ferret.
Dude.
But yeah. But you still. That's that's great about comedy too. Greater minds than mine have said this. I think it's. I think it was either Seinfeld or Chris Rock was like, I don't care if you're Seinfeld or Chris Rock. The audience will give you about 5 minutes at the most. If you're Kevin Hart, the audience will give you about 5 minutes. They're excited. There's his height. We're here. But then you still got to bring it.
You got to do something.
Even if it's your greatest hits, whatever it is, you still have to bring it. And that's what you were talking about. Someone can come right after you, and if they're bringing it differently than you did, they'll kill.
And I've seen
regardless of gender.
And I've seen it too, where even the energy levels, like there can be a comedian that's super ecstatic, super hyper on stage, gets the crowd going crazy.
Yeah.
The next person is not as charismatic, not as crazy, but yet still kills.
Well, I was talking with Caleb.
That's him.
He's great. We were talking about this last night.
Caleb, you got that shout out, dude. You see, that's all he wanted on this show.
Caleb's great. He's very funny. But we were talking about before him, if you got somebody that's a different, like I'm usually pretty high energy. If you got someone that's a high energy before you, it can work to your advantage because it's such a sharp drop that if you just, but the key is, and Caleb knows this, the key is confidence. So if your style is like Stephen Wright, I'm sure there's a more modern reference of a slow talker. But if your style is very drawn out and deliberate, and the guy before you, all you have to be is confident and just stand your ground in that moment and let the audience catch up to your style.
Okay.
So when you get nervous, you're like, oh, the guy before me really killed. He's very energetic. I better ditch my style and pander to the audience, and you're probably dead.
Do a quick woo.
Yeah, you might be dead.
That's
if you're like, hey, isn't this great? Well, folks, let me tell you about my life. It doesn't make any sense. You know, you got to stand. You could still be this person, but you just stand your ground and you're confident and let the audience come to you.
Okay, here's another question then. Here's one thing that I've done a few times, and I've actually done very well with it, but I've heard comedians say that it's a crutch and you shouldn't do it.
I don't believe in crutches. But what is it? What are you doing?
There's a guitar on stage.
There's no such thing as a crutch.
It's such a crutch!
If you're funny and you're getting laughs, there's no such thing as a crutch.
I guess I get it because it does make me feel more comfortable because I've been playing guitar forever. So me with the guitar up there. But
you think it's a crutch for Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
You do?
I do.
You're out of your mind.
I feel like that's his thing though. Is like I don't want to be that thing where
you don't want to be a guitar comedian?
Not really.
Don't you just want to be funny? That's the thing.
Yes.
So if you have a guitar and you're funny, you got a puppet and you're funny, I don't care. But I'm different.
I like that though.
I'm not weird and I'm not sect-like about comedy. I think if you're getting laughs, good for you.
You're doing
now,
it.
I may not think it's my kind of thing. If I think it's real dumb or you just talk about jerking off and drugs, if that's your thing, that's not my thing. But if the audience is on board, good for you. I don't judge that. I'm snobby about comedy where I might be like, that's not my I would never do that.
Would it be more of like judging, I guess, audience reaction then? You're like, I see what you're trying to do, but obviously it's not working, as you can tell.
Well, the audience is always the final verdict, always.
Okay.
I'll even hear performers, and I'm guilty of this. I gotta get myself off this thinking, but performers be like, the audience is no good. No, every audience is good. It's just, are you gonna click with them or not? Then it's dangerous. Are you gonna pander to them, or are you gonna stick to your ground and do your thing? But no, if you have a guitar or you
trumpet,
you juggle, whatever your thing is. If the audience is with you and they forget about the problems of the world for 5 minutes, I don't think there's anything as a crutch.
Nice.
Now, if your thing is you're horribly racist,
no, but I do have a joke.
Then I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't care if the audience is laughing at you. I'm not. I have to say that's horrible.
Because that makes sense too. But again, it's the tastefulness and how well you present the joke. Where I started doing this thing where like I sang a song where it's like if I wasn't racist, I would sing about all these cool things, and I start singing about things.
Oh, that's fun.
If I wasn't racist.
Yeah, any idea that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gravitate towards smarts. I don't know if I ever achieve that myself, But that's what I gravitate. Smart stuff.
You're a fast thinker on stage, though.
I have
That's
to
the
be.
thing. So
It's my bread and butter. It's the only way I survive. I'm like a
think
shark.
That is literally fast thinking. Like your neuroreceptors are probably just like, I have to think of this and this to tie into what they just said.
It's funny you say that because it creates problems in your life. Because when you ask your system to do that all the time, and then say you want to, I don't know, go to sleep at night, you have to tell yourself like, okay, let's meditate. Let's do something. We're not in fight or flight stage mode right now.
Not analyzing everything.
Yeah, and if you do it for years, you're lucky enough to do it for years, then you really have to manage that because your brain's like, all right, you asked me to fire like this for decades. We're still going to fire like this. You have to be like, okay, I don't want you to do that right now. Because you burn out all the time. I'll find myself sometimes like, can I just relax? Sometimes I can't. And I don't smoke weed or anything. I drink a little, but luckily that's not my path to relaxing. Sometimes it works, but yeah, I have to force myself. I like meditating. I have to force myself to be like, okay,
calm down.
Calm down, man. Calm down. I know, brain, I ask you to do that all the time, but right now, I wish you wouldn't.
Nice.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
And sometimes, yeah, I could just see that always, again, no matter if you're trying to not even do it. Like right now, you're just like, every witty thing might be wanting to come out, thinking about it.
Because, you have a good voice. Do you ever do radio?
No, but I used to work at a drive-thru at McDonald's, and I was complimented all the time. They're like,
you have a naturally good voice for. There's no such thing as radio anymore, I guess. Kind of dinosaur format, but perfect for podcasts.
Yeah, they always were complimenting me on that, and I was like, "That's good." I mean, I was like 14 at the time, but still was pretty cool to know.
You were 14 working at McDonald's?
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing you did to someone's? Maybe not to someone's food.
So the craziest thing was I worked at the night shift.
Okay.
We still had the play place.
Play place.
After we closed, we would actually smoke some weed.
Okay.
Go in the play place. Go to the top of the slide and slide down on a tray.
Oh, this is great. Oh, I like the tray.
You have to be on a tray.
That's great.
Because you literally
with some fry oil underneath the tray, or just a
just straight dry. We're just going dry. We're just dry humping.
I've done that.
And it works too. It's
sometimes
the after effect is just hilarious because we were flying out of that tube like at least like 2 or 3 feet.
Oh.
So it was fun. It was a great time in my life.
I love that.
That was my first job too.
You ever been on an alpine slide? You know what that is?
Is that one of those metal slides that are super high up?
No, an alpine slide. I don't know if they still have one in Durango.
Let's
they
look
used
it up
to.
right away.
You get on a death trap plastic bobsled and you go down what used to be an irrigation ditch. And people die every year.
It says there's one.
Is there one in Durango? I'm sure lawsuits shut this thing down years ago. I did it while it was still a thing.
It said Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. Oh, maybe. Oh, Santa Fe. Maybe Taos. Maybe Santa Fe.
At the ski resort.
Yeah, they're usually part of a ski resort. Because these ski resorts in the summer, no one's going to go drink hot cocoa in July. So what they do is like, let's build a trap where people will pay us $40 to lose the top layer of their skin. There it is. That's it.
Yeah.
It's wildly dangerous.
Oh, gee.
I'm sure you have to sign something now. When I was a kid, they're like, yeah, go for it. No helmet, nothing.
So how long is this, though? It's like miles?
No, I wish.
Like
then
2 miles?
That'd be great if you could take one to, like, Juarez. I would do that.
That's how they're getting through the border, that's for sure.
That's the new rail runner. That's the new rail runner.
Oh, man.
No, it's probably whatever your typical ski slope is. Because you take the little, if I remember right, I don't think you hoof it up there. You take the ski lift up, and then they go, okay, sign. You have a living will? Yes. You get on the thing, and you control the speed with a little joystick thing.
What?
It's horrible. So no kid is gonna go slow. You open it up
straight.
And if you don't, I forget how you control the banks when you go into an embankment. People fly off them all the time. So people have died. Many people.
Dang.
Look up the statistics. How many people have died on an? No, don't.
Death on an alpine slide.
I'm sure it's. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I didn't know there was this many deaths, but there was so many deaths from air balloons after that one that recently happened.
Oh, that's a horrible one.
I was like, there's a lot.
Oh,
so that's crazy to think that one incident was awakening to know that there's almost
yeah.
that happened a year, almost
Yeah.
like 20
And they're
to
so
50.
happy. It's a big, oh, look, it's a cow. It's a cow. But they're death traps.
They're scary.
Yeah, people are dying underneath those udders.
Like, I honestly think it's very unhealthy too, because you're under there inhaling all this propane
Oh,
gas.
I don't mind that.
Oh, that's normal.
I'd still go up.
That makes sense.
I'd go up.
It makes you higher than what you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of it. Plus, these people that operate them are bonkers. They're crazy. This is their whole life. They go from town to town in a trailer and a motorhome.
What are they called? Balloon carnies?
Is that what they are?
They should be.
That's what they should be called. I'm sure there's a name like aerialist. I'm sure there's a name.
Very technical term.
Yeah, it's probably from Switzerland.
I took a 6-week course to get this balloon license.
Yeah. Oh, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah,
at most.
From DeVry, but yeah, I went once. You've been to Balloon Fiesta?
I have.
What'd you think?
I've been to the Night Glow, and that was beautiful. The whole thing where they just like light them up on the floor, really cool.
Did you take a date?
I did actually.
Oh, that's
Went with a
perfect.
girl, and another girl and their friend. So it's like a double date kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But it's always so weird when you're on a double date because you don't know if like
you have to follow what the other couple's doing.
Yeah,
and if they start making out, you're like, well, this bodes well.
Am I doing good enough? I mean,
yeah.
Should I just walk away?
Well, I like to think if the woman sees the other couple making out, then it plants a seed, and she's like, well, yeah, I'm on a date. Now it works the other way. If the other couple's like not holding hands and they're going Dutch on everything, you're like, you're killing everything. You're killing my vibe.
So one has to stimulate the other group.
Yeah, I think the couples have to be symbiotic.
Okay.
You can't have a couple that's fighting the whole time and thinking anything good's going to come of your date. It's not going to happen because it's like the ghost of Christmas Future. She sees those two can't get along. They've been only dating for 3 weeks.
And it's weirder too because it was the girl and her friend and the random guy and me. So I didn't know the guy, and I kind of knew the girlfriend, her friend and stuff. But the girl I was with was like, "Hey, my friend's coming with us, and she's bringing somebody." And I was like,
"Okay,
let's do it.
Better be cool.
Let's do it." Actually, I don't want to say he's a douchebag, but I mean he had rap on his car.
What do you mean he had rap on his car?
You don't know what rap is?
Well, I know, like, you can put something like, I work for EnviroClean, that kind of rap?
Like, literally, like, almost spray painted on his car.
Sure.
But
it's like a plastic wrap.
Yes, exactly. But
like
it was
shrink wrap.
So like the weirdest intricate design where it's just like sunburst yellow with like a weird like.
I don't like.
It was horrible.
I don't want to be judgy, but I don't like.
I was never into like. Don't get me wrong. I like fast cars and I like cool looking stuff like that. But I'm not into like, hey, let me just flash my car like if it was.
Wait, hold up. How much is a wrap? One of these wraps?
It has to be over $500. It's like a new paint job.
That's what I'll do, because I have a Civic, and it's oxidizing. Like, I don't want to brag, it's a 2005, but it's oxidizing. It looks like a storm front is constantly moving across my. So could I get a wrap that's the color of my original paint job?
Oh, perfectly.
Wait, does it cover the roof?
Yeah.
I got a sunroof though.
They'll cut it out.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, this is what I'm doing. How long does it last? A summer? How long? How many miles can you get out of a wrap?
I think it's a good like 5 years.
Oh, I'm doing this.
I think.
You think it's only $400, $500?
Well,
You know how much a paint job is?
How much is a paint job?
$2,000.
Really?
Yeah, even on a.
Even with spray paint?
Oh yeah. No, not spray paint. These are real people. I don't know where you go for your car detailing.
I'm in the South Valley. What do you
expect?
expect?
I do like the South Valley.
Wrap on a.
Look up. Let's see how much this is. I think you're wrong. It's probably like $1,500. Wrap a bald eagle around your Lexus. It's probably much more than $300.
I would be very surprised if it was more than $300 wrap a car. How much to wrap a car? Printed vehicle wrap with insignia.
Now we're talking.
It says call now.
No, we're not calling for an estimate.
Quick quotes.
You can make this one of your content videos.
Oh,
I'm going to call them and pay forward the next person's wrap.
That was a horrible. I'm not putting all that information. There is.
It's too much. Look at these people.
Look at the work though.
I'm always nervous when they're like, we have to have a website with 800 pages.
See, like again. So they wrap it.
Oh sure, a Porsche is getting a wrap.
Shrink wrap at that most with a heat gun.
What's the price range?
Again, I can't find it.
Oh, there. Go up. It says wrap price ranges. See, little down more. Right there. What's it say?
Is it too far? I can't see on this end. I'll bring it over here.
Yeah, see what you can get out of this.
It does
I
say.
can't
Oh,
read it
never
from
mind.
this.
It is very expensive.
How much is it?
As low as 2,000.
See,
But
I
the
knew
best,
it.
really
Damn
good
it.
wrap are from 6 to 10,000.
who does this?
That dude that I
And
was
I
on
love
a
the video.
double date with.
I love the video. It's a Porsche. Like, if I could afford a Porsche, I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to wrap this. No, wrap it. You know what my design would be? A prairie dog town.
Just a bunch of holes.
A bunch of prairie dogs, like, you know, and like that would be my wrap.
Right before they pop up.
Yeah.
You
Or
see
some heads up,
some up.
some full up, both paws against the chest.
Is that kind of based off of that groundhog game thing? You know, when you whack 'em all?
Oh, it could be. That's what we should do. You and I can invent a game, whack-a-mole, and it'd be called New Mexico Berserko.
Right.
And it's prairie dogs that pop up. One has sunglasses. One has like a backwards hat.
A car comes up that's wrapped.
Yeah, a car comes up that's wrapped.
With a little mole on there.
I had a horrible balloon fiesta experience where I went during the day. I used to live near there, so I go, I gotta go. It's literally half a mile from my
You just look up.
my
You're just like, I
place.
have to.
I have to, but it's cool when you live that close. You're like, every morning's really cool. The first few mornings, and you're like, okay, how long does this last? But it's always cool. So I went, and then I love corn dogs.
Oh,
So
God.
I got a corn dog. This is where tragedy struck. So it's only half a mile from this place, right? Balloon Fiesta traffic. The corn dog started to take over my system.
What?
Horrible.
It wasn't-
So I'm stuck in traffic. So this is not really my kind of humor, but I'll tell you what happened.
Here we go. Fart jokes, everybody.
Nah, it's way worse than that. So I had been working on writing a script. So in my my back seat of my car was, you know, these giant notepads you can put on an easel.
Okay.
Was one of those notepads. So when terror struck, I ripped off a page from one of those giant Office Max notepads, and I I crumpled it up. And then I sat on, because things got horrible.
It was getting leaky.
It was getting close. So I put that, and I put a couple
He's like,
of
I need
those,
to put some kind of.
and some kind of barrier. So I put a couple of those.
You're just soaking up at this point.
No, well, it was okay. I knew tragedy was going to strike. Traffic was not moving.
You knew.
So I put a couple of those underneath, and not good. Tragedy struck before I got home.
It did.
And it's like at most auto accidents happen within, a mile of your home. This was the same thing, only inside the car.
Horrible.
And it was horrible. It was horrible. So that's my own balloon.
Come on, the insurance
my
had to
balloon
pay for
fiesta.
something.
No, it wasn't that bad. Paint wasn't coming off, but yeah, it was horrible.
Oh.
It was, that only happens if you're lucky in your life a couple of times, right? Has it ever happened to you? You couldn't make it?
I've actually, yeah, but it was a younger age. Like,
I'm not talking a toddler. That's part of growing up.
I'm thinking like more of like transitioning into my 20s.
Oh, sure. So there's how many you think you get in life? You get 2 of those horrible things?
Well, if that's the case, then my second one better come soon because I don't want it to happen when I've only had one.
Oh, okay. You got another one coming. It could be a decade. You got another one coming.
Oh, man.
Could be an airplane. Could be.
So old age doesn't count?
No.
No.
No. We're talking when you don't expect it to happen. Yeah, incontinence. That's part of the game on both when you're a baby and when you're. I don't think it's called incontinence when you're a baby, but when you're old and when you're baby toddler.
But that middle ground is where you have.
The
to
middle
brace
ground's
yourself.
dangerous because you don't expect it. But I still love corn dogs.
Interesting.
You have a favorite fair food?
My favorite fair food would probably have to be the turkey legs.
I'm not a turkey leg person.
Really?
Maybe I haven't had good ones. About halfway through, it becomes a job, and I'm like,
What else can you do with a turkey leg?
And you gotta carry it. They don't give you. You're not. Maybe now they are, but back when turkey legs were popular, I don't know when that started.
Yeah, like they have a turkey leg on a straw.
But you have to. It's barehanded. You have to.
There's nothing more barbaric and manlier than that.
It is pretty manly.
That's the coolest thing about it. Is like
I don't think the taste is. I haven't had ones where I'm like, this is amazing, and then you're like, I got an hour with this.
I guess you're right. Like
I haven't had ones that the taste was amazing.
But they're all super. Like there's no bad one. That's where I find it. Is like
you like the flavor.
Yeah, you can't find.
You like turkey.
You can't find a bad turkey.
How many? You'll eat all the leftovers at Thanksgiving.
Mostly, I'm not a stuffing kind of guy.
Okay. Oh, really? I love stuffing.
I'm not stuffing kind of guy, but cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, green beans, green bean casserole.
Oh yeah. What do we do in New Mexico that no one else does for Thanksgiving? Put green chili in the stuffing? Is that what we do?
Do they?
I don't know. I don't know of any other traditions.
I know they do. I know almost every holiday has tamales with them.
Thanksgiving has tamales?
Thanksgiving.
I've been
And
missing
that's
out
one
on
of those things where just like, hey, Christmas, tamales. Hey,
I love tamales.
Christmas,
yeah.
tamales. Hey, Thanksgiving, tamales. Hey.
You got to know a family, or you got to go to the right church
All right.
and get your I love tamales.
You do.
Red pork. I'm not. I don't need green chicken chili ones. Quit screwing with the tamales. Dessert ones. That's more of a Mexico thing.
I'm not into that either.
You know, like I might like cherry. I like cherry anything. But red pork tamales.
That's it. That should be the only principle in tamales.
So good.
What are those other things called? Have you ever heard of an empanadita?
I know I've heard of an empanada.
Empanada.
Yeah.
They're
What's an empanadita?
It's kind of the same thing, but I thought it's just that was what it was called. I think that's just what my mom called it to make it more innocent.
That might be correct.
It's
I'm
like,
a gringo.
hey, you want an empanadita?
Oh, that's
because I'm a
cute.
little kid instead of an
I've always
empada.
heard empanada, but maybe that's European.
But doesn't that have sweets in it as well?
Yes.
But the best is just the ground meat and beans.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's where it's
maybe
at.
even diced potatoes.
Dude. Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
You're a salty kind of guy.
I love those.
Oh man. Are you like a food critic kind of dude? You're
No, I do like good food,
And
but
nothing
I
you're
eat
pick-
everything.
You're not
I
a
eat
picky
everything.
guy.
No, I sometimes have to remind myself to eat better. I want to do this thing. Most people don't want to do it. They're just forced into it. But I want to do the thing where you eat clean for 30 days. Very Santa Fe.
Wow.
This conversation's taking
Might
a
as
turn.
well just fast.
But you eat very clean, like a lot of vegetables, a lot of raw. I want to do it. A lot of people are like, I don't want to do this, but I got to beat juvenile diabetes or whatever. I want to do it. I want to see what happens. I think it would be good.
Interested.
But do I do it? No.
Is it more of like a mental thing? You're just like,
think so.
oh, it's gonna be too much.
I think
I have to
so.
prepare asparagus.
I think so.
I can't do that.
Yeah, no. Just give me any frozen Trader Joe's food.
Hey, on well, let's just give a date, July 19th. Make sure you're behind me all day because I'll be paying for your fast food all day.
Oh, July 19th.
I'm gonna try to.
Is
do
that
it.
when you're gonna do it?
Yeah.
You think you're gonna spend $1,000?
I'm gonna spend a whole check. So.
You are wired differently than anyone I know. That's good for you in a good way.
Interesting.
No one would be like, I'm going to spend $1,000 and make all these people happy. How many people do you think you make happy with $1,000?
That's the thing. 1% of the population. 1% of the population. So that would be at least 600,000 people.
What?
Exactly.
What? No,
Yeah.
not with $1,000.
Yeah, 1% of the population would do what I am doing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
When I said how many people do you think you'll be happy, you said 1% of the population.
Like,
I go, that math is off.
You're like, that dude behind you so pissed off because he paid for his burger.
You know what I figured out is,
Calm down.
you know what's crazy is they say that, you ever heard of this show called The Mayor of Easttown? It's a big HBO show that's popular right now with Kate Winslet.
I haven't.
Well, this show brought an interesting point up. They said, because Friends did their reunion, there was a reunion show with Friends, and they said a thing like Friends is never going to exist again. What was considered a hit show, that term is now dead, because Mayor of Easttown was the #1 show in America, the #1 show for like a month, okay? You know what percent of the population watched it?
Who?
1%.
Oh.
Because there's so many platforms, so many shows, not even counting the old dinosaurs, the networks, the old primetime networks. I'm talking there's Crackle, Hulu, YouTube,
Peacock.
Netflix, Peacock, Paramount, National Geo, which I think merged with HBO Max,
Discovery Plus.
Disney Plus. Food Network has some scam too. There's so many shows on all these platforms. There's no such thing anymore as a hit show.
No.
what they say.
That makes sense.
It's tough for comedians because you can't go on stage and be like, well, The Bachelorette's a real tramp this year. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's still a show.
Well, that's the thing, too. As you've seen, I've tried so hard to relate everything to my anime life.
Oh, good luck. I've never seen anime.
I know. That's
What is this next to you?
This is Goku. This is the super
Goku,
the Super Saiyan
Goku.
God.
That's his name? This guy's name's Goku?
Goku. And
Okay.
actually, that's translated to
Now, I
Kakarot.
apologize. I'm sure your followers are like, that son of a bitch is making fun of Goku. I'm not making fun of Goku. I've just never heard. Imagine you've never heard the name Goku, and you got this mural next to a guy's head, and you go, what's that guy's name? And they go, oh, Goku. You would laugh too. It's no offense to the main anime people.
So that's his name on Earth.
Oh, here we go.
He's a Super Saiyan who has a
Okay.
name as
He's a super what?
a Super Saiyan.
Which means he's sentient.
He's from another world.
Okay.
Okay, and his name on this other world is called Kakarot.
Oh boy.
And the creator of this show named them after fruit.
Oh.
That's why this
Kakarot in Japanese means what?
like a carrot. But he named it not to name them like them. He just took references from American fruit,
Yeah.
like a carrot, and named it on this guy with a play on words. So there's a guy named Kakarot.
So there's a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Kakarot, carrot.
Yeah.
You tell me the name, I'll tell you the vegetable.
Okay.
I'll tell you, okay?
Okay. So we started off with Kakarot.
That's carrot.
Okay. Piccolo.
Rutabaga. Pickle.
Yes.
Cucumber.
Vegeta.
Well, that's not appropriate for kids. There's a character named Vegeta.
Oh my god! You do not know who Vegeta is?
Nope. Show me a picture.
Vegeta-
I can imagine what Vegeta looks like. Might need a shaving.
Okay, he is a Super Saiyan. Vegeta is the prince of all Saiyans.
Okay, let me see. Oh, it's a guy. I was way off.
I hate you so much.
Vegeta.
Oh my god.
I don't want to be rude, but you need a shower, Vegeta.
Vegeta is the prince of all Saiyans.
Smell you from here, Vegeta.
The
Oh, I've seen Vegeta. I didn't know what that. I think I've seen Vegeta. Didn't know what Vegeta's name was. So what's all Vegeta's names?
It's like Vegeta is like a vegetable.
Oh, okay. That it's just the general
A
name
vague
for
one,
vegetable.
yeah.
Okay, give me some more of these. I'll tell you what the vegetable they are.
That's not fair because they're so easy. Like Raditz.
Oh, it's a radish. Sure.
I thought it was like a rutabaga.
Radish.
Another one is Krillin.
Krillin.
Yeah.
That's krill, like what whales eat. They strain it through their. I used to know the name of that. Their strain teeth. Those the ones that are able to filter. No, what is krill?
Krillin, I don't know. He just has a cool name.
Now I know this is Korean, and we're talking about Japanese things. But you ever seen the movie Okja?
Okja.
Oh yeah, it's a good
What
one. It's about a giant pig.
Oh,
You've never seen Okja?
Is it
Am I
like
saying it wrong?
Okja?
Do you have Korean followers that could chime in?
Wait, what kind of? How do you spell it?
I think it's OKJA maybe or OAKJA.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen that movie?
I have not.
Oh, that's a
but
good
I
one.
have heard about it.
That's a good one.
Anybody else? If you guys have
This
seen
is
it?
my name dropping thing. An actor from that movie, Steven Yeun, who's Korean as well. He was just nominated for an Oscar this year, and he was Glenn in The Walking Dead, and he's a friend of mine. This is my name drop. I can name drop a lot if you want me to.
Well, dude, I'm so surprised you haven't yet. You're that kind of guy.
No,
love it.
I'm not.
I love it.
No, I'm not.
The only name drop I could do is I was on Jeff Ross's Insta Comedia Roast. Like he was doing during the pandemic, he was doing like live Instagram feed.
Sure. And you got on there and said, "Do me."
Twice.
And what? He sees you?
So there's a bunch of people commenting like, pick me.
Yeah.
And everyone's he just looks at your profile picture and is like, I don't know if I should pick this person or not. Something on my profile initiated.
You look like a fun guy.
He picked me once,
Yeah.
and that was great. He ragged on me. I tried to tell him a joke where I was like, hey, I'm in the military for 4 years. And he's like, that's where I got my joke for the Kiss Army. Because he said
You were in the military for 4 years?
Yeah.
I never knew this.
Dude.
I've heard your material, but I never thought the military thing. I thought you just needed it for the joke.
No, JROTC was the shit.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 years of JROTC really turned me.
Junior
Recruitment of the cadets, cadets, something like that.
Do you get is that a scholarship? You got a scholarship?
No, I was actually during 4 years of high school, so that was my elective class every year. But
You get a lot of action when you're in the ROTC?
Not my first year.
All right.
And the crazy part about it though is like every 4 years, the whole United States of ROTCs does this thing where they have a competition with everybody, and they have statistics of academics, physical training, and like marksmanship and stuff like that.
When you were a kid, were you subjected to the president's fitness exam?
No.
You ever heard of it?
Yes, I know what you're talking
Worse
about.
than you think it is.
But is it
horrible?
Is it just like
Used to be a thing.
But was it a requirement to get past another grade?
No.
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people would not make it.
You felt the same pressure because it's the president. The president says, I'm concerned about your fat ass, and I've hired Arnold Schwarzenegger to scare you even further.
He's giving you the message.
Like, I can't, look at me. I could never climb the rope. That was one of the things. The rope was, in my school, was always in the gym, tied off to the side. But during cafeteria, our gym was also the cafeteria. You'd have to see it. The rope would taunt you during lunch, like, oh, keep eating your crackers, you moron. You're never going to. So what the presidential exam was, there was all these different exams. Like, one was the time dash. So there's blocks. There was there's like, I think we had chalkboard erasers. We had no budget. Chalkboard erasers on 2 lines about 20 feet apart. And you have to, it's all anxiety. It's timed. You have to start. You have to grab the block from one line, run back, set that block down, take the other block, take it to that line, take that block back. And because you're so, I was so stressed out, and you have to do it under 2. So when I got to this, I would just throw the eraser to the other line. I'm like, let's call that good. And then there was also how many sit-ups you could do, like in 20.
I remember those.
Horrible.
Ones. Like, is the sit-up, push-up, and something else challenge, right?
Yeah, but they weren't even those names. It was like, grab and reach. It had names so you wouldn't be as traumatized, but you were still trying to grab and reach.
Like, that's gonna be so much. Didn't they do like stretch testing as well too?
Yes, you became. You know when you go to a shoe store, it looked like that. You became a human, one of those metal shoe size things, because you'd have to reach, and there would be lines like the shoe measuring thing.
Yeah, like a yardstick in front of you.
I'm a awkward white person. I have no flexibility, so I would be like, good. They're like, you're not even reaching any of the lines. You have to at least the first line.
Can you get to 0?
Horrible. I couldn't get to the base line. I couldn't get to 0.
Oh man.
I'm gonna check out your guitar. I show you the extent of my guitar playing. Would you like to see?
Do it, man.
Right.
Let's go.
Let's see. Here now we're doing something. Give me what's another one of the names. I'll tell you the vegetables.
Dude, there's so many vegetables. There's so many vegetables out there. I get so discouraged with.
Play this guitar?
Dude, play it. That's probably
Is it tuned?
It is. I don't know if you're into a Spanish acoustic nylon guitar.
Ooh, is this catgut?
It's close. It's very close to Esteban's butt.
Well, I'm not used to such soft strings. For some reason, I have a pawn shop guitar.
That's
not the for some reason.
With the steel string though.
Yeah. So I'm not such nice supple strings. All right, let me get my cans. Now this is gonna be horrible because I'm not good.
Do you need a pick?
Ooh, no. This is a See, if you know anything about the Spanish acoustic guitar, there's no pick.
Wow.
No, is there? I don't know.
You can if you need one.
Oh, no.
But
no,
there are certain techniques where you don't need one.
Let's see.
Let's see what this guy's got. Everybody, we got.
You sure this is tuned?
It's pretty close.
I don't know. Okay, ready? I want you. You want me, baby. My sugar boo. I'm levitating. The Milky Way. We're renegading. Yeah. There it is.
So you have been practicing.
Yeah,
there
I'm
it is,
trying.
man.
I love it. I love it.
What inspired you to even start to pick up the guitar? You're like, I need another
You know
skill. I need another skill.
You know what it was? I wanted to, and I'm gonna do it someday. Maybe it's the strings. I need to change my strings. This thing's easier to play than mine. I wanted to be able to play guitar because then I could go on stage and improvise songs in the moment.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I used to do in high school.
You would improvise songs?
Like, I would be in band class, and I would just play the first, like, an A minor and a G chord.
Yeah. Oh, an A minor.
And then G chord. That's it.
Ooh, a Spanish guitar really has some flavor.
That's all I would do and just sing random stuff. Cody Dove is in my room, and it's not in a sexy way, but we're still here to get together, and I know that there's music along the way.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's good.
So I feel like it would be a crutch if I take it on stage, though.
No, stop this crutch business. Sure. Okay, if your idols feel that way, I don't know, maybe Joe Rogan feels that way.
Mark Norman.
Oh, Mark Norman?
I really love
Mark
that guy.
Maron or Mark Norman?
Mark Norman.
Oh,
I know Mark Maron, but Mark Norman is a more newer comic. Have you ever heard of Joe List?
Yes.
He hangs out with him a lot.
How old is this Joe List?
Joe List is probably like has to be my age.
Oh, okay. I know a different comedian named Joe List.
Maybe no. I'm gonna just
This Joe List is not your age. This is
Does he have glasses?
Yes.
We probably are talking about the same guy.
This would be nuts.
How old do you think I am?
You are 23.
Wow.
Is that good?
Did I not just say I played guitar for 15 years?
Oh, wow.
I'm not child prodigy, but come on, man.
No, but you look very young. It's a compliment. Maybe you don't want to look young. Nope.
That's not
Different
Joe
guy.
List?
Different guy. I know a different guy. Chicago comedian named Joe List.
This is a New York comedian.
Oh, very different. So you subscribe to these comedians and go, I'm a purist, which I respect.
No.
You gotta get rid of this crutch idea.
No.
Anything that delivers the happiness to the people. I want you. You want me, baby. My sugar boo.
SPM Omar, just want to say what's up. He did give a shout out. He's like, how are you guys doing?
Hey, thank you, buddy.
We're just here hanging out. We also had Sir Wigglebottom come in and say,
I love Sir Wigglebottom.
chili on mashed potatoes was a Spanish thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chili? What kind of chili? Wigglebottom?
Red chili, he says.
Oh, interesting.
Says
Okay.
it on there. And
I
then
believe that.
He says, and Kyle Hart says, that's how I met you. Remember I was telling you that story of jumping
yeah.
ship from the network paradox, the Nexus paradox?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, right. I'm one of them.
Fantastic. Here's my story about a guitar. So when I was in high school, I liked this girl named Vanessa Owen.
That's a horrible name already.
She was in choir. She was very boring. I question my taste. I look back and I'm like, what the? Was I into Little House on the Prairie? Like I'd see her and I'm like, what was I trying to do with this?
Is that a beginning Mary Ingles?
I think she was very religious, and I go, I'll change her. Maybe that was it. Because she went to the Baptist church in my hometown.
Interesting.
And I was not in the any social clubs that were going on a senior trip. I don't even know if there's such thing as senior trips. Maybe rich kids do them now. I'm not a rich kid. But she went to Emmanuel Baptist, and they were going on a senior trip. So I started going to Emmanuel Baptist.
Just to go.
Going to Sunday school, and they're like, oh, why? All of a sudden you're into religion. I go, yeah, I was under the impression you're going to Mexico, right, for the senior trip? And they go, yeah. I go, yeah. Plus the girl was there. It was more about the girl, but more about the senior trip.
Mexico.
So here's what's crazy about life. Right now, as a comedian, I often perform almost exclusively, because that's what my agent works with a cruise line called Norwegian Cruise Line. So this trip I went on, when I was 18, Norwegian Cruise Line was the cruise. It was all forecast ahead of me. It gets weirder. So me and my buddy Steve Bird, he was kind of a wild card for a church kid, one of those kids. Like, we smuggled wine on the ship and drank on the bow of the ship with some Mormon girls.
I love how it's like, it's so dangerous.
It was crazy. We smuggled some, like, red wine from Mexico, from Ensenada.
I think you know that guy Danger Varos, don't you?
Very dangerous. And we drank on the front of the ship with some Mormon girls. We were there with the Baptist church. These Mormon girls were like, let's do it. Let's get crazy.
God will forgive us anyways.
But here's something, that's more of a Catholic thing. But here's what happened. So Steve wanted to get a guitar. So he bought a guitar very similar to this one. And so what I did as a high school kid is I sat in the stairwells of the ship. There's stairs, there's elevators. So we sat in a stairwell. They're like little alcoves.
Yeah.
It's hard to...
Going from level to level,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like a wide platform. Like, you probably fit like 30 people. The ships are huge. So, me and Steve Bird, he would play guitar. I would improvise and tell jokes. I was 18, if it was a senior trip. So, flash forward, many years later, what do? I improvise on ships and I tell jokes. And it was all forecast in front of me.
That's interesting.
And isn't it crazy? It's the same cruise line, too.
Norwegian Cruise Line.
That's the one I work for.
That's
the
so
ship
dope.
I was on as an 18-year-old has been decommissioned. It doesn't even exist anymore. But now I go on ships called, like, the Escape. That's a weird name for a ship when considering the COVID. I was like,
play a D minor with the Escape.
Ooh, a D minor. Let's see, the Escape. Is that D minor, right?
That's an Escape.
And then other ships I'm on, the Epic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Power chord.
That's a power chord. And sometimes I go on a ship called the Encore. I like that one. That means you did a good job. Maybe they want to see you again. The Encore.
Dude, that's where we all come back to C.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Oh, C is our friend. Yes.
That's our friend.
So, it was all kind of there. And but the kind of comedy that I do for any people that you're watching and never heard of me, which is all of you, is improvisational. So that's what I was always gravitated towards. So that's like if you see me, that's the thing I do. Do you consider that a crutch?
But see, the way that you do it though is not a crutch.
Thank you. I take that in mind.
But okay,
I'm not
so,
hung up on crutches like you are. But I definitely say if I'm gonna do this and not look like a Yahoo, I'm gonna make it smart.
Remember that
It has to have stakes.
you did a bit where you actually put some water in something at inside.
Well, that's different.
That was a crutch.
Well, but here's
That was a
no,
crutch.
You can call it a crutch, and I understand what you're saying, but I don't consider it a crutch. If you see me doing magic at an open mic, which happens sometimes, here's what's happening with me. I get in my head about stuff, and I go, "Oh, I've had a couple of good sets at this open mic." I love that dog. And so I go, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shake it up and erase everything, and just do magic." And make people get like, what is he doing? It's all by design.
That's interesting.
I'm not like, oh, I think this is really good. I'll do magic tonight. I have to go like, what can I do to kind of etch-a-sketch what I've been doing? And I'll get people up, and it'll just be weird. Like one night at the open mic, I love this kind of stuff. This year, a rando Michael Jackson impersonator was passing through town.
And everybody thought that, like, you know, it was part of your act.
That I knew him because I go, ladies and gentlemen, I've gone into entertainment management. My client is very successful. I'm excited he's here. And people were like, what? That was all made up. Because I just wanted a weird intro to get this Michael Jackson impersonator on stage. He was something else.
But so
real ball of wax.
So you guys didn't even establish him going on stage?
Oh no, we knew he was gonna go up, and they go, and the host, the great host, Holly and Royal said, "What are we gonna do with?" I go, "Can I bring him up? I know how to handle this guy. Let me set up the room." So I set it up like he was this act, and I was very excited. But here's the thing. I like weird stuff like that. It brings texture to the evening.
Okay.
Now, some comedians might be like, don't mess with my stand-up. It's sacred.
That's a gimmick.
It's my church. Yeah, it's a gimmick. I love gimmicks. I love novelty.
That's where I don't like where people introduce the two, where they're like, oh, it's a gimmick, but it's still a show. Like, it's to entertain people.
Yeah.
Like, there's some comedians that I know that aren't into doing variety shows. So
they're that purist?
They won't be on the show because there's like, oh, well,
good for them.
Why would I want to be on a show with a...
Here's the thing, though. When I was on a ship one time, I was very conscientious about being an improviser because these shows are billed as stand-up shows, as they should be. It's stand-up.
Yeah.
But I was backstage with a very accomplished comedian who had been on David Letterman, been on Conan. His regular club is the Hermosa Magic and Comedy Club in Hermosa Beach, California. I don't know if that's something like that. The Hermosa Beach Magic Comedy Club, which you guys would hate that place, you purists, because there's a comedian, there's like 3 comedians, and then a magician will go up. It's a Magic and Comedy Club. That for me is heaven. That for me, I love it. But I understand why, guys, because I loved a comedian, still like him, not as much anymore because my taste changed. But I used to love a guy named Bill Hicks. You ever heard that name?
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Yes,
People love this guy.
Yeah.
One of the greatest of all time. And I bet Bill Hicks would hate it if you go, okay, Bill, right before you, magician's coming up. I think he would hate that. I don't know. He's had a big heart. Who knows? But me, on the other hand, I go, great. I love it. I don't really like jugglers. I'll be honest with you. I kind of hate jugglers.
So there are some variety acts that you would kind of not go towards.
I'll go watch anything. But if I have to follow something, like,
You're not trying to follow jugglers.
Who cares? But I'll watch anything. I've seen some crazy stuff. I was performing on a ship in Europe once. They weren't part of my show. But I watched a German mime duo do a 50-minute show of German mime. Mime is bad enough. I'm sorry, you UNM theater kids. Mime is bad enough when it's just mime. Now imagine 2 young German kids. Here's why that's bad. So they would do something where like, oh, now what we will do is I'm going to go into the basement, Luther. And then, so Luther would stand there like, why are you going, Hans? And Hans would then act like he was going downstairs behind a screen, that old bit. You know that bit?
Yeah.
I'm going down, Luther. And Luther would, Hans, are you going to get the strudel? So that's fine. That's the thing. But here's the thing that drove me nuts. They did a little bit like that. and it was designed like a variety show. So after Luther goes down to get strudel, I'm back, and he's carrying an imaginary tray, and Hans is like, Luther. Then that would be the end of that piece. So the lights would go out, and I'm not kidding. This drives me nuts.
This sounds scary.
The lights would go out as they reset for their next piece. That's all.
Okay.
That wasn't part of their thing. That would have been interesting. Instead, what happened is you would sit in the dark, no music or nothing, for 2 minutes.
What?
Till the next thing started.
So
they're mimes. Why do you have to turn the lights off?
They're moving props and all this stuff.
And it's not even big props. It's 2 chairs. They get rid of their little screen so they can do the stair thing. You would sit there in silence for like you know how long 2 minutes is in silence in a theater in Europe? It's an eternity.
I've seen people do a minute of stand-up and it seemed like eternity. So I could just imagine 2 minutes of silence.
I have been that guy. But yeah, so to answer your question, I love anything. I just love entertainment. When I was in 2nd grade, they go, "What do you want to do?" And I go, I wasn't really sure what it meant, but I go, "I'm going to be in entertainment." 2nd grade. They're like, "That's what," I go, "Yes, I'm going to be." I even think I said, "I'm going to be in the entertainment business."
Wow.
And they were like, "Okay, oh, great. Just try to keep your coloring in the lines." Right. They didn't understand what it meant. But so I love entertainment. Now, of course, I'm not a nut job. I'm discerning. If it's 2 German mimes, I'm going to be in pain. I'm not like, "This is great. It's entertainment." No, like 15 minutes in of sitting in the dark, I'm going to lose my mind. But
there is a subjectivity to what you're watching.
Yes.
To a point. I mean, I wouldn't just be like, "This is the best thing ever," just because I've never been here before.
No, but I just love entertainment. And the times we've had the last 15 months really make you appreciate it.
Oh,
that's why, maybe that's why. Well, it's a good open mic regardless, but the audience has been great at these open mics I'm going to. I think it'll be good audiences tomorrow night at Revel.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
There you go.
Revel.
Hit that.
I've never been. You been to it?
I have.
Nice club?
I have a show there, but that's not until the 19th.
Oh, fantastic.
On a variety show.
Is it part of the thing that I'm doing?
Is it what is it? Is it burlesque, sweet pasties?
What are you doing with your life? You're doing what?
Yeah.
You're a conflict. You're a conflicted soul because you go, "You know what? I'm not sure. I don't want to bring my guitar up," which a lot of people can't even play the guitar. It's a crutch. "What's the show you're doing?" "Oh, it's Pasty Variety Night." A guy comes out and makes a salad.
Then there's a juggler.
Then there's a juggler.
And then me.
And then a burlesque woman comes out. I like the burlesque people in a city like this. It's all like it's all like retired goth girls or roller derby girls. They're like, "What do I do now?" Burlesque.
That's where I'm,
right? Am I right? Or is it different?
No, it's you're hitting the nail on the head. Pretty
God
much.
bless them. Again, I love it because I love entertainment.
It's a great avenue to find people, to learn new things. Like, I would never be surprised if they even liked my material. So
you're going in thinking this is a hostile crowd.
I've done it before.
What's a burlesque crowd like? Are they thirsty?
I've done this before though.
Oh, you have.
That's why they've invited me back.
Oh, you're fine then.
Yeah.
You're great then.
Yeah,
What's a burlesque crowd? They're very welcoming.
Not only that, there's a woman that walks around the audience, and gets tips for you.
What do you make at these shows? I went in on this. How much you make for your set?
The very first time I ever made...
Wait, first off, how much time do you have to do?
The very first time I did 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Which was horrible because I didn't have 10 minutes.
That's all right.
I was so... But again, I wanted to jump into that opportunity. It's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this.
You might have had 10 minutes if you'd brought...
the guitar!
Your buddy.
But once I did my material, dollar bills in there for $22.
$22 for 10 minutes?
Just of nothing but very mediocre material. Now, I feel way more confident.
How much are you doing this time?
I'm doing the same thing, 10 minutes.
See if you can get 50 minutes. Maybe you can make $30. I'm your manager now.
Okay, see, here's the thing, though. The second time I did this Sweet Pasty show, though, I didn't do comedy. All I did was guitar.
Ooh!
You'll never guess how much I made for that fucker.
All right, everyone, welcome to Dublin's...
The life.
Dublin's BBC Radio, and here with the song is our own Quinn Finland. Quinn?
Tell us more.
You say you want diamonds and a ring of gold. You say you want your story to remain untold. But all the promises we made From the cradle to the grave, when all I want is you. That was Quinn Finland. Thank you, Quinn, for coming in here at Dublin's own BBC Radio.
Back to our regular scheduled program.
Yes, we're back. Where were we?
If Quinn was a superstar, is that his first hit single?
Quinn Finland? Yeah. It's a
That would be-
cover. But yeah.
Is it a cover?
Yeah, it's a cover.
Of what?
U2 song from the...
God, I can't believe you played U2 on that guitar.
From the...
You've ruined it.
I love them. That's how white I am. It's from the Reality Bites soundtrack with Winona Ryder. That's Winona Ryder's sister, and Ethan Hawke. And it's a great soundtrack. It's very Gen X, brah.
I'm over here thinking, like, is this guy going to play something from the Maximum Overdrive soundtrack?
I can't. Oh, you want to hear something from Maximum Overdrive? Ready?
I love that one.
Look out! Our truck's alive! Oh, look out! We're gonna die! Look out! Here's a fun thing that people don't remember. So we live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, home of Better Call Saul, home of Breaking Bad, home of the incredible villain Gus Fring, played by Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Actually, it's pronounced Esposito because he's Italian. Not a lot of people know that.
And he doesn't know Spanish.
That's right.
Yeah,
a lot of those guys don't. You know the guy that plays Nacho? You know where he's from? Quebec.
Horrible!
He's a very nice guy, Michael Mondo.
I was so crazy, though, because I met Giancarlo at Comic-Con.
Yes.
Like, I paid the money to meet him, and that was so shitty. But our interaction was so cool because he just wanted to keep talking to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did it! So I took a picture with him, and I started talking to him in Spanish. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, I don't know Spanish. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How do you know all that stuff? I memorized all those lines. Now, technically, he still kind of does know a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when I met him, I was just like, oh, ¿cómo está mi amigo? Yo no sé mucho de usted, pero quiero hablar con usted en español.
And he's like, buongiorno.
He's like, how you doing, son? And I was just like, oh, do you know Spanish? And he's just like, I don't. I was so.
You want to hear a crazy story? This is true.
Tell me more.
I'm very grateful for this experience. But I worked with Giancarlo.
Nice.
Last week. Yeah.
What?
That's all I can say. I can't say anything.
What?
I literally cannot say anything else.
You heard it here, folks, on MuseMe TV. I am clipping that.
I'll let you know. When I can tell you when it's coming out, I'll tell you.
Oh, man.
But I worked with him. He's very cool.
Wow.
Very good guy. He is very, very nice.
There's so many off air. Can I get a little bit of?
Maybe.
I'm not one of.
You have to sign so many non-disclosure agreements.
I am literally like Joe Rogan. You can tell me about aliens. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I swear to God.
I will say he's exactly what you met him. He's exactly what you want him to be.
Yeah,
he's a
super
very
genuine,
cool guy,
honest.
Very nice.
You don't see anything past what you see, and that's so cool.
And he is an actor's director, and what I mean by that is, like, he's just great. He enables you to do a really good job. He likes actors. He likes to rehearse. I love to rehearse. He's great. He's great.
Nice.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you, friend. In the show, do you do show notes? In the show notes, we'll give a link when I can talk about it.
Right? No, dude, we'll just have you back on.
Oh yeah,
We'll just have you back
March.
on. We'll have you way back.
That's
on.
when that thing will be for public consumption.
Nice.
But yeah, he's a very cool guy.
Any other Breaking Bad stars that you've worked with? I know you've worked with
Odenkirk.
Saul.
I worked with Odenkirk a few times. We're from the same theater in Chicago, the Second City at North and Wells in Old Town, the North Loop.
Dude, okay. How does that how did that even start?
Well, when I was a kid,
Like at 9 years old, I was gonna tell them Second City, here I come.
about 9 years old, I'm watching television in Farmington, New Mexico, and
Shout out to Josh.
Shout out to I love Joe. I always forget he's from there. I'm like, oh, he's the
He's a
real
native.
deal.
Yep.
He's the real deal.
Native.
So I'm watching the Tonight Show, and a guy comes on the Tonight Show named Jonathan Winters.
Okay.
He's a very famous improvisational
I'm gonna look him up.
comedian. Look him up. See if you know his face. If you like classic movies, you might know his face. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. And he was improvising, and at that point, I'd already been a magician, a child magician. And he was so good at improvising, I said, that looks like magic. So I go, I should get rid of these magic props and just become an improvisational comedian. He was my inspiration.
This was the guy, right?
Yep. So I went to L.A. I studied at a place called the Groundlings. That's where Kristen Wiig and everybody, Will Ferrell, all the people all those kind of people.
The names with names.
The Groundlings, yeah.
Yes.
And I was not on a stage for them. I just studied there. I didn't. A lot of people go, "Oh yeah, I did the Groundlings," and people go, "You were a Groundling?" Oh yeah. No, you took classes there for $5,000. So I took classes there for $5,000, and then I was dating a girl from the Midwest, and she goes, "They're gonna build this thing, a branch of this theater called the Second City. Isn't that what you're trying to do? It's a sketch comedy and improvisational theater." And I go, "What? You're there. Second City's there. Stay there. I'm sick of LA already. LA is like Me Too. LA should be called Me Too." I went there, and there's a guy like comes out the intersection washing my windshield, for money, and I go, I'm just out here to study improv. He's like, me too. Everyone does the same stuff.
Yeah, that's what they go for, right?
Anyways, so I went into the conservatory because I had some more experience by then of the Second City. And then eventually I did a stage for them, and that's when you can say, yes, I am a member of the Second City. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I did the Second City. That means they paid for classes.
Yeah.
There's 3,000 students at any given time. So when I'm on the road, someone will be like, my cousin did that, and I go, oh, fantastic. Who's your cousin? Lanskin? And I'm like, nope, that's not. That person never did it. That was a student.
Class of what again?
Yeah, exactly. So I got in there. I'm an alum, which is kind of hard to do because that means you created original material on their stages. And other people that did the same thing with the Second City who went on to a little bit more success than me.
That's what.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, you're blowing me away right now, man.
Tina Fey.
You're in my podcast room. What are you doing?
No, I'm very proud of it because it was very different. When I auditioned for the Second City, they auditioned 600 people. They hire 6 of you.
Dude.
Can you imagine that stress?
That's so
It's like
dope.
the bar exam. You don't sleep for 2 weeks. And how can you prepare? It's improvising. You
Yeah.
can't know everything. I tried. I watched the AFI. That's the American Film Institute. They have a 100 top movie list. I watched that over a summer. I read every playwright I've ever heard of. I read books and magazines. It made me a much better person because I wanted it so bad. You go in there. There's 600 people. And you have time slots. You go in, there's not all at the same time, but when I was there, it was probably like 100.
A lot of people.
And they go, okay, 20 of you on the back line, 2 of you step forward, and they go, your suggestion is blah, blah, blah. And you start off and you improvise. So the dumbass that I got, and you don't get to choose who you're improvising with. You just step out there. And there's a lot of weirdos because although it's an equity, it's called Actors Equity. I belong to Actors Equity. You don't become Actors Equity until you're hired. So anyone can come to these auditions, right? Yeah. So this guy steps out. And do you know the reference John Benet Ramsey? This was a child pageant star that was murdered in Colorado. Horrible story. So anyways, I step out, and this genius with me starts miming like he's digging. This is a classic improviser move. Like you're just digging, and you hope something's going to come to you. It's a metaphor. So he's digging, and I go, okay, I'll start digging too. And I go, oh, maybe we're in a chain gang. We'll have some fun stakes. Maybe he's, we're on the run or something. and he goes, oh man, I can't believe we're burying John Benet Ramsey. And the judges and everyone in the room's like, oh shit, this idiot. Everyone hates this guy, right?
He's already ruining
So
it.
I think the reason I got a call back, which means you get to come back the next day, is I keep digging. I just stay calm. And I go, Lionel, when I get a chance, I want to talk to you about the names you're giving our pets. Everyone was comfortable, right? Everyone was like, thank you, guy. And it didn't make that guy look like an asshole. I could have. It didn't make him. He looked like he was smart.
Yeah.
That guy didn't get a call back. I came back the next day, and then what they do the next day.
Wait, was that all that was? Is like a 2-minute thing? Like
that's
that?
all you get, man.
Whoa.
It's like America's Got Talent. You get about 90 seconds, and that's it. And it's no real indication of your talent.
Yeah.
But you got to deliver.
But that was so, like, you saying that made me react like, holy shit, that was sick. So I could just imagine why they called you back.
I think, thank you. I think they were like, okay, this guy can stay calm, and he can do the thing.
He just plays it.
So the next day, what happens is they hand you a script you've never seen, and you get another different person with you, a different actor.
Somebody else that made it, right?
Yeah, some other person you've never seen before. This guy was from Detroit.
But obviously, this is actually a higher tier because he did make it.
He somehow improvised his way to the script level.
There we go.
The script level, they hand you a script. My script was written by Stephen Colbert, and they go, because he's from the Second City, and they go, okay, go out in the hall. You have 10 minutes to learn this script and come back in and do this. And it's like Ours was like 6 pages.
Damn.
So you go out there, and you don't even really have time to talk to your scene partner. You just go, okay, what am I? And our scene was I played a psychologist, and he was a patient. And all I remember really is one of the lines that was used a couple times was like, "I'm aware of the time," because it's like a 50-minute session when you're a psychologist. And he was very distraught, and I kept calling him the wrong name. I think his name was Dan, and in the script I kept calling him like Steve. I don't remember anything else. So then that happened. He was a little overwrought though in his performance, so he didn't make it into the company. He was like too much. It was like when he wrote the check out at the end of the thing, he was like very carefully, and he was like shaking, and I was like, all right,
you're putting too much in this.
All right, Mary Steenburgen, bring it down a notch. So then I remember it like it's like like I imagine people remember their first kid. I got a phone call, and they're like, "Would you like to join the Second City?" And I was like, "What?" I called my buddy, one of my best friends, this Native American guy, this Navajo guy. I called him, and I was in the Midwest, and he was in L.A. And I go, "Oh my god," because he was my buddy in comedy, meaning after school we would go and watch VHS tapes of old SNLs.
So even earlier,
like your buddy in comedy, yeah.
Because unfortunately, my buddies in comedy just started. Like I just barely met these guys.
That's cool. That's okay. The best is your buddies in comedy, because those are the people I like to do this.
I do have one friend though that's the reason why I do comedy is because he kept telling me like, dude, you're funny, man. Do something. Like even if you we'd watch America's Got Talent and we just roast everybody that was on there, and he always was laughing. He's like, you can do it. But I see what you're saying, where like that friend in comedy is there to like support you and help you, and you guys do it together.
And it's the best. My favorite thing is this kind of sounds pretentious because it's very specific, but my favorite thing in the world is to be in a diner in New York with a couple of other comedians. This is very Seinfeld because he made a show out of this, but drinking coffee and having breakfast and just talking about comedy.
Isn't that kind of the definition of after shows called The Hang?
Yeah, but The Hang often, I think, if it's not your buddies, like let's say at an open mic or whatever, it doesn't have to involve, it's often people are drunk.
Even fans, even people that
you don't want to mix fans in there.
But even if so The Hang is pretty much just the comedians that were there that night.
Yeah, that's fun, yes. But for my personal favorite is like you go to a diner or something, so it's quiet and you can talk comedy.
Okay.
And you can be like, why is this funny? Or is this funny?
So it's almost scheduled kind of stuff.
Yeah, or just it's a little more like sit down and a little more like focused. Like Seinfeld just released a book this year called Is This Anything? And that's what comedians say to each other. It's like, is this anything? When you, I'm trying to think of something.
Yeah, like a premise or something.
You're
like,
exactly. Exactly. It's a premise. Like a thing that I want to do. I'm going to do, you'll see me do it in an open mic. I want to do a thing like, I want to do rules for guys on how a man can carry a gift bag. It's very specific. Never by the handle. You take the top and you fold you crunch the top of it down. Yeah. So it's like a sack lunch. Then you're never by the handle. Yeah. I don't care who you could be. John Cena. You got to crumple it and carry it. You got to carry it like a man. So I'm going to try that. That's all I have right now is that idea and a couple. I think I sketched out a couple ideas. But I like that part of it, and and that's why Comedians in Cars is so popular, because people love to hear like WTF, all these things. Yeah. They love to hear the inner workings of what comedians how they.
And that's where I feel like so much podcasts have boomed right now too, like comedian style podcasts. Like again, I watch.
I think you just got in with your followers that you already have. I think you're the last podcast that will be listened to. There's so. You just barely made it under the wire.
Yes, that might be true, but again, I don't stick with just one avenue though.
Yeah.
So like, there's been times too where we'll do a podcast, but the podcast is just nothing but drinking, like a drinking game.
Oh, that's fun.
So I try, and then the guests as well are not just comedians. Like I've had burlesque dancers here. I really.
Ooh, the burlesque dancers. Were they clothed when they were?
Oh, barely.
Well, we got to be respectful. It's like us. Your relatives always like, say something funny. It's the same for a burlesque dancer. You're not like, you're coming over to the podcast, huh? Yeah. And then they show up in coveralls, and you're like, okay, well.
It looks like it's that kind of show.
I guess.
But just that avenue of stuff. But I feel even like, I know this is going to sound cliche,
Yeah.
but if you started a podcast,
Yeah.
people would listen.
You think so?
There's too much people out there that wouldn't listen.
I don't know. Maybe. Okay, I'll talk to you about it. Because I love old school entertainment. That's why I wear a suit when I do a show. I always wear a suit.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm ripping off, what's his name, Mulaney. Maybe he likes old school entertainment too. But I just like showbiz. I love showbiz.
I like that aspect too. I actually recently bought a suit too for when I do a nice show.
Ooh.
It's just a straight black tux, like
Good for you.
Reservoir Dog style.
Yeah. I often will wear that same kind of thing.
But that's it. I just want to do it for a showmanship kind of thing.
Well, my heroes all did it. That Jonathan Winters guy you pulled up, he wore a suit. Nichols and May were a very you got to look up some Nichols and May.
Oh.
Very famous comedy improvisational duo. They both dressed like you could dress like you're going to a 50s cocktail party. You can't lose. And if you want to get more specific, there was a comedy guru, and they call him the guru because he was the inspiration behind people like Bill Murray and Steve Carell and some ladies. He wasn't very great, unfortunately. He wasn't very shepherd-like with women. He is a weirdo. But his name was Del Close, and he always said, dress just a little bit better than the audience. But here's a question for you. Do you think when an audience goes and you're wearing clothes like they're wearing, they're more at ease and they'll go along with you? Like, say in New Mexico, I sometimes wonder, not at a real show, a show,
Yeah.
but at an open mic, if I wear like a blazer even, the audience is like, they're not with you.
Okay, see that I don't believe that.
Okay, good.
I don't.
I don't want to believe it, but I don't know.
I hate this rule in comedy that I just recently found out. I guess.
Well, let's hear another one of your weirdo rules.
No shorts on stage.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Why?
100%.
Why? These legs need to be flaunted.
100%. It's a matter of, you know what it is? It's one of the things about show business.
What? What is it?
Can't do it.
How though?
Can't do it.
What if? Oh, that
Can't
makes
do it.
no sense.
Would you wear shorts on the stage of Carnegie Hall?
If it called for it,
No,
yes.
would never call for it.
How you know it wouldn't call for it?
Wouldn't call for it.
I'm a
Even if your show was We're the Vans Warped Tour comedy version, still wouldn't call for it.
what? I don't.
Maybe the Vans Warped Tour.
Now I feel now you could get away with it. Maybe not back
No,
then.
you know what it is? But maybe. For my mindset, never.
Don't fucking wear shorts.
Never. You can. Maybe you'll become your thing. You're the shorts guy.
I done it, and I don't want to be the shorts guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be the
I
shorts.
don't want to be the shorts guy.
I like that that's a thing, and I fully subscribe to it. I don't believe in your crutch idea or you'd never take a guitar up there idea. But that one, because when sometimes I'll consult with improv theaters. Like I did a great gig in Nashville one time, and they bring me in. They're like, "How do we make this better?" And I go, "All right, number one, dress up. Like you don't have to wear suits. I prefer that people do because here's what a suit does too. It's like a uniform. If an audience this is very improv specific, and yes, listeners, I know a lot of improv is horrible, but it can be better with a simple move.
And if it's done tastefully.
Dress up. Because here's what a suit does when you're improvising. Stand up, too, to a certain degree. When you're wearing a suit, it's like a blank uniform. You can play a stockbroker. Sure, that's easy. But it also gives you a very uniform look. It's like a utility look. And it's slightly elevated.
Okay.
You look smarter, even if you're not. If you're an idiot, you're in a suit, the audience is like, well, this person might know something. I don't.
That's actually pretty interesting.
Part of it. So on stage, as a comedian, you kind of have an advantage if you dress nicely. That's why I love when this is a perfect good literal example. When Chappelle wears his coveralls and with the C on them, love it. It's like a good, clean, uniform look.
It's just, and it's, yeah.
Here's a question for you,
perfect.
okay? Not that Chappelle's the end-all and be-all. He's pretty great. Would Chappelle ever wear shorts on stage?
I hate you so much.
Thank you. Maybe, but you know what? We might contradict ourselves. If we watch that Block Party documentary, no, I don't think he did.
No, I don't think so either.
Even
Super younger ages, I don't think he would have been that naive to do it.
Well, I don't even know if it's not. Maybe it's naive.
Because I've seen
it's just professionalism.
When I was, I did it as a naive thing. I didn't know.
Oh well, then you're fine. No one should have said anything. How do you know?
But but that's where that stigma.
I once went to a Catholic church and I took communion. I didn't know. It's the same thing.
Like I just walked in the door.
They're like, "Did you take?" My friend's like, "Did you just take communion?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Ooh, you can't do that." And I go, "Oh, I'm sorry." I felt so bad. I went to the priest afterwards, and I go, I want to apologize. I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm not
trying to be an ass.
I'm not Catholic. He goes, "Well, next time, I was trying to date this girl, and she was trying to find her Catholic church.
What's up with you and these religious women?
I love them. They have everything that I'm not. So he was very helpful. He goes, if you ever go, and he goes, next time you go to a Catholic function, church, what am I trying to come up with the word? Next you go to a Catholic service, do this. Do you know that? If you're not Catholic, when you go up, if you go up to receive a blessing, if you're not Catholic, you do this. And they know. It's like a sign. Priest's like, oh, okay, not Catholic. And then they'll just say, I don't know if they touch your head.
But some kind of gesture.
They just give you like, blessing.
Yeah, all right.
I did a TV, can I say that? Yeah. I did a different TV thing this year, and I
hate how famous you are.
And I got to give out communion to people. And that wasn't, but respectfully, in the script, we were not Catholic.
But still.
I'll say this. So.
Here we go.
I gave communion to... Not literally, but pretty much the same thing. I gave communion over 30 times to Thanos.
Oh. Just because of the snap?
What's that?
Just because of the snap?
What do you mean the snap?
You know, the snap.
Oh, yeah, but the man who voices Thanos, I gave communion to him.
Oh.
About 40 times. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, that was my role. I played a pass.
That's actually pretty crazy.
He's a very cool guy.
Because, I mean, that guy plays like a literal god.
Yeah.
On the Avengers. So.
He's great, man. He's great. JB. Okay. This is fun. So let's circle back now to your thing. So do you think your love of fame will evolve as you continue to do comedy, or you're only in it for the fame? It's what drives. It's what you want to be better. So when you walk into a Chipotle,
I want people to notice
they're
me.
like, "Oh shit! Do you see that it was?"
That's
what you want?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that angel or is that anal? Hell yeah.
What the second pronunciation is the Hispanic pronunciation?
The second pronunciation is a mispronunciation of the Spanish pronunciation.
How do you correctly?
Angel.
Yes, because I've heard people say it. I'm not going to attempt it. I screwed up.
Don't say anal, please.
No, I won't. I think it's a dumb joke. I would never say it. But it's a dumb joke. I hate that. It's not funny to me at all.
You're like, stop saying anal on stage,
No, because, if you say it and you're talking about your life, that's different. But say someone's bringing you up and they think that's funny, I would be like, no, it's not funny. But if you talk about your experience with it, that's funny.
Yeah.
You can say it. But if someone like made the joke I'd be like, so, okay. So that's interesting. There's a documentary called Comedian, and he's an interesting character. Orny Adams. Do you know this guy?
I don't.
Watch this documentary. It's worth your time.
Orny Adams.
It's a documentary that Seinfeld produced. I sound like I'm a Seinfeld disciple. I kind of am.
You sound like Mark Norman.
Mark Norman's a Seinfeld disciple?
Very big.
I very much believe in Seinfeld's tenets of comedy. What he believes comedy, I very much believe it.
He does kind of look like Seinfeld.
And you know what? Do you know what Seinfeld would say about your crutch and all that? He'd be like, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Anyone that has the courage to get on stage and try to make a room full of strangers laugh, that's all that counts. And the pros that I work with on the road, they think the same thing. And these guys have huge credits. Letterman's and Conan's and all these things.
Comedy Central, something, right?
Yeah. Comedy Central, Netflix. I have a buddy. Here's another guy that you should. I love this guy. He has an HBO special called Adorable. His name's Orlando Leyba. Very funny comedian. His lineage is DR, the Dominican Republic. But he's the same way. He's like, it doesn't matter. You getting laughs? It doesn't matter.
Does he have a full last name?
Orlando Leyba. His last name is Leyba.
Leyba.
And his HBO special is called, I don't know why I'm plugging him. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's very funny. I guess that's why I'm plugging him.
I hear it.
Oh, yeah, I love him. And there's the ad for his thing. So watch. This is a friend of mine. We do a lot of comedy together. He opens up, maybe not because he's getting bigger and bigger, but he regularly tours with Patton Oswalt.
Oh,
he's Patton's opener.
Nice.
And then I have another buddy that I love who is Fluffy's opener.
Really?
Yeah. So these guys, for these big time comedians, they'll send me pictures of their rooms like at Caesar's Palace, and it's like a pit house, and they're the opener for like Gabriel Iglesias. That's his name, right?
Oh yeah, Fluffy. Yeah.
But those guys would both say, "It's not a crutch. You getting laughs from a room full of strangers? That's the gig.
I feel so much happier talking to you right now.
It's how I believe. You're going to run into a lot of people that don't believe that.
A lot of people.
But I've been fortunate to have some success in this weird world of entertainment. And I think, yeah, now that doesn't mean that
You're literally saying, ditch your whole act and go do guitar.
No.
I know.
I'm saying explore all the ways you can make an audience laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if a guitar is part of your thing or you're a ventriloquist, the only thing is you just have to do it to the best of your ability.
Because I do want to bring something that I grew up with.
Here's an exception, though.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm sure someone could do it to prove me wrong. Rubber chicken.
Rubber chicken?
Yeah. No, I don't ever bring a rubber chicken.
Isn't that prop?
It's a prop.
It's a prop.
I do props sometimes. I'm not against props, but the rubber chicken, I don't think you could do a rubber chicken anymore.
That's so old school, though,
Exactly.
right? Dang.
I don't think you could get away with it.
Interesting.
Maybe it's so old school, people would be like, this is...
Cliche.
Maybe it's so old school, it's new. People would be like, oh, this is great, it's meta. I don't know. So that's good. You have your goals of what you want to be. So that Orny Adams guy, the reason I brought up that Seinfeld, and then we got on a tangent about these people that don't think there's such thing as crutches. Well, there is such thing as a crutch. Like, say your joke is you're the florist comedian, and all your jokes are about being a florist. And then 20 years from now, I see you, and you're doing the exact same act with the exact same jokes. You haven't branched out in your florist world. You're doing the same thing about baby's breath and deliveries. Then people would be like, oh, it's a crutch.
Because it's the same thing.
That's all it can do. It's holding you up.
Okay.
But you getting on stage and doing a song about how much you love the guitar and it's better than dating apps or whatever your thing is, like, that's not a crutch. That's funny.
Interesting.
Yeah. So relieve yourself of this burden. And anyone that tells you that, they might be a little insecure about their own act.
And to be fair too, it's like, again, the New York comics. Like those guys have this mentality. It's like Seinfeld. You go up there and just tell jokes, but yet they don't.
Sure, I respect that.
But that yet, like you said,
New York's tough, man.
But yet again, they don't know the whole aspect. Like you said, Seinfeld will totally be like, as long as you make them laugh, dude, you could probably do whatever you want up there.
Well, I find this too. The bigger guys I work with, meaning guys and girls, the more success they've had. They don't sweat any of that. Because when you get to a certain level, you don't care what anyone else is doing.
What's the opening act going to do?
Yeah. Well, also, if you're backstage and they're getting laughs and the room is warm, they don't care.
That's all they want to hear is like, this is a good crowd.
They want to feel the room start to expand a little bit. And they want to, they appreciate it if you know your place as an opener. The opener's job is not like, I'm going to show the headliner. I'm going to kill. That's not your job. Your job is to take care of the room. It's not to kill.
Not to do the best out of everybody.
No, your goal, your ego is not leading the charge. As an opener, your thing is not like, wow, I'll show that. I'll make it hard for the opener to come out. Yeah, okay, buddy, you could do that, but you're probably not going to work very long.
And it's probably going to be a pretty bad mindset, future on set.
Yeah, you're just pushing yourself. You're going to put too much pressure on yourself.
That makes sense.
But, New York comedians, I give it to them. You up there and a mic and your wits, and that's it. Maybe you're wearing a suit. That's nice.
And they try to say, too, it's a little bit more fast-paced. So their jokes have to...
I don't give a shit about any of that. But I don't care. Like, also, they're miserable. A lot of them are miserable because their rent is $8 billion. And their city got hit hard. It's a different mentality. LA comics are a little more laid back. Okay. Midwest comics are the same way.
Yeah.
A good comic's a good comic anywhere.
So do you
But these people that are like, I'm a New York comic. The ones I've been hanging out with lately, pretty miserable.
So you think like the move and stuff that everything's going on with Joe Rogan doing this whole thing to Texas, you think that's going to boom in a good comedy spot?
Yeah, a buddy of mine is there's a show called Kill Tony.
Yeah, I follow that so much.
So have you ever seen the guy with MS on there in the wheelchair?
Yeah, Michael Lair.
Oh, you know his name?
I know the guy. He's amazing.
He's a very good friend of mine.
Really?
Very good friend of mine.
Wow.
We are like war veterans. We have done tours together we've done hundreds of shows together.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm glad you like him.
I'm
really glad you know his name.
And that's so crazy too. The fact how they introduced him first was like, he's done Second City. Yeah. He's been doing improv forever. He wants to step into stand-up now.
Yeah.
But with the MS and stuff, I'm just like, whoa, this guy is doing it.
Well, and here's the ultimate philosophical question. He's in a wheelchair. Do you think that's a crutch?
I don't want to be an asshole.
Let's hear your answer.
I feel like he kind of does get a crutch.
You are out of your fucking mind.
Really now? Really? Okay, he's
in a wheelchair.
He's automatically a headliner all the time because he's in a wheelchair.
No, because he's funny.
That's not it.
He's funny.
Well, okay.
Now, I'll admit, it's like...
He is funny, though.
Well, it's like dumb gringo comedians. Everyone has heard this. Well, people of color have an advantage because... You ever heard someone say that?
You have your niche.
That's bonkers. Now, often I've thought like, oh, the audience sometimes will be like, ooh, it's a more full experience. When you see Dave Chappelle, the audience assumes stakes about Dave Chappelle growing up in Washington, D.C. that are different. When they look at me, they go, oh, great, another white guy. But they see Dave Chappelle and they automatically have he came from a different background. So his things have weight to them. Okay. When he does that great thing about being in a bad neighborhood and he sees a baby, you ever heard that? God, it's so funny. But it's because the audience is like, odds are this is all true. This guy grew up in a difficult neighborhood. And then audience, so these guys, someone like Chappelle that grew up with that kind of background has an advantage because they're weighted with stakes of their own life. So something they can't even help. You know what I mean? They're not using that as that's not a crutch or whatever. But an audience would be like, oh, I'm on board with this guy. They see me and they're like, tall white guy. Oh, brother, what is he, a car salesman? But no, I think Michael Leyba is a great example.
I could just imagine, though.
Well, here, give him credit for this, too. So this is what a good comedian does. He goes, oh, shit, I have MS. I have to be in this wheelchair. How am I going to use this to my comedic advantage?
Yeah,
that's what a pro does.
Especially to reinvent himself.
Yeah.
Because
he's always been funny. He's always been very funny. Weird and odd and off. Even I can remember my first show I ever did with him. I was like, what is this guy? and this is way before MS.
Yeah, he had probably
no disability whatsoever.
Just straight movement.
Emotionally stunted, maybe.
But still, I mean, that's so cool though. That blows me away.
Yeah, we've done hundreds of shows together. And
right now, my favoriteest thing that he does is the thing on Kill Tony where he does Future Teller vape thing.
I gotta see it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, more recently, so he's been on every episode for the past almost year now. But
yeah, he posts a lot on Instagram.
Yeah, he's the regular.
Oh, okay.
He's the regular on Kill Tony, so he gets a spot every Monday.
Here's what's great about him too. Again, taking advantage of your situation.
Dude.
Like yourself, the guitar. That's taking advantage of your comedy perspective. Think about it. What he does too, which is great, is because the audience is like, this poor guy. I don't know if he would want them to say poor guy, but what he does that's smart is he can say whatever he wants because the audience is like, this guy is literally degenerating every day
in front of us.
Yeah. So he can be like, I'm not going to repeat any of his material because some of it I'm like, holy cow.
I think he's thrown the F word out there in the LBGT community.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that.
Okay, so being a comedian with knowing that where is the line of censorship, how is that something? I was just listening to the Comedy Central roast of Pamela Anderson. You know how many times they said the F word in the LGBT community sense?
Well, I think
too many times to not be considered bad. Why though?
I think it's but here's a separate. Maybe it's to protect. I think this is a separate thing.
All right.
I will say this though.
I just don't think comedy should be censored as much as it's being censored now.
I agree, but here's the problem: when comedy. Here's a great thing about comedy that I think people have forgotten. And I'm not going to say, cancel culture and people are too sensitive. I don't think that because what's great about the way people are approaching all identifications, how people identify, what's great about it is, in theory, it's a utopia where everyone is accepted. That's not how we live now. So people have to be like, what? And then you go, well, it's a pretty good idea. But here's the thing that people forget about comedy. Really good comedy, whether it's going back to Red Fox, Richard Pryor, or Bill Hicks, or more recently Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock's a great example. Not Seinfeld, not Brian Regan. But these guys I mentioned, and Lisa Lampanelli, or
Like Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross is a great example. Here's what people forget about comedy. When you say I'm on stage, and let's say the statement, I just put catgut strings on my guitar. Let's say that's super controversial. I get up on stage and go, see my guitar? I just put catgut strings on it.
And then play a chord to make it sound so beautiful.
But here's what people forget about comedy. So if I say that, and that's a controversial thing to say, the reason an audience laughs is one of the best and greatest things in your toolbox as a comedian. Whoa! I can't believe he said that. A good comedian will say things where you go, whoa, my God! I can't believe he said that. And that's what controversial comedy, and comedy should be, you can say anything at all. I know a lot of people don't like that idea because that means you can say anything. But an audience will be like, oh my God, I can't control this laugh because I'm shocked. An audience isn't laughing because, haha, yeah, I agree with you. Some audiences are stupid.
Yeah.
They might do that, like some idiot.
But it's rare. It's not.
It's rare. An audience laughs because they go, you should. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But what's great is we live in a country where you can say whatever you'd like. That doesn't mean you're not going to be sequestered.
But you can say it.
You still can say it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you might be not. But here's the problem too.
Is that where the tastefulness of the comedian comes in, though? Then.
Well, you got to be a pro about it. You got to be smart. Dave Chappelle's a great example. He can,
Dude.
he can say stuff, and you're like, oh wow. Now he's got in trouble with his LGBTQ bit, which I think is funny.
It's perfect.
But I'm also want to be respectful to people that think that's not funny. But he's a great example. He's operating at the top of his game. He's a pro. He puts the time in. He makes it look effortless because he grinds it out. Here's where you get in trouble. Go to an open mic. It's a guy's second time or a woman's second time getting up there. Sorry, I keep saying a guy. It's their second time getting up there, right? And they're like, you know what I'm going to talk about tonight? Abortion or whatever. And because they're not a pro, God love them. They don't have the skills. They don't have the mileage. They're going to talk about that stuff
in an awkward way.
People aren't going to laugh, and people are going to be offended, and they should be, because it's not done right.
Yeah.
Because the human reaction is like, oh, this is offensive. Guess what? You're right.
Okay, so that sense, though, with it being offensive,
Yeah.
shouldn't the answer from the audience, silence, very shitty groans,
Yeah.
that kind of tell you that
Absolutely.
that you fucked up?
The audience is always the arbitrator. Always.
But the way that cancel culture and stuff is happening now
Yeah.
is like you get told for a joke you did almost 3 years ago.
Well, that's bullshit. I don't agree with that.
Well, okay.
But you know what?
How can you not fix yourself, though, if you're being blamed for something that isn't readily apparent anymore?
Well, then I'll say this. I'll say this. Say you're an I won't even say you're an idiot. Say you were on Twitter. Even
most people on Twitter are.
You were 3 years ago, and you did a bunch of, not a good look stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a better example than this.
Twitter's good.
But okay, so you go, listen. You say as a public figure, and you're not even trapped. It's not that you were creepy with women or anything like that. You just put you floated some ideas on Twitter, and someone finds it, and they repost it. And someone's horribly offended. So, and you as this person say, listen, I was a different person now. If you mean it, maybe you go like, I don't give a shit what you say. That's what I do. So this is what happens. Then maybe your venues to entertain people become increasingly small. It's the times we live in. Maybe that's what happens. You can't play Lincoln Center anymore. Maybe you're just playing the road. You're playing Tulsa or whatever.
Yeah.
It decides that's what you're going to do.
So you kind of have to work with the times.
Yeah, but I also say if you're that comedian and you go, listen, I was a different person then. I've grown greatly, but these were my steps to make me realize there's people other than myself out there, and I'm happy to take those things down. I apologize. People should accept that apology.
Okay.
They should 100% accept it. You're sincere, and you're not a creepo, and you mean that, and you still want to hold it over their head, then you're wrong.
Okay.
You want to be a dick and you hold it. Someone says, I sincerely apologize. I'm an evolving human. I'm an evolving soul. I'm a different person, and I'm sincerely sorry. And you go, not good enough, then you're wrong.
But you know what's crazy though is that like the justification of one person telling you were wrong compared to the 100,000 likes that you get for that one post.
Well,
where is the middle ground?
Well, I'll tell you where the middle ground is. If your audience is regularly, because live is where it's at. Well, a podcast, I don't know, but live is for me where it's at. So regularly, if your audiences are telling you that ain't working. This stuff ain't working, because those are the people going to clubs. Those are the people that are in the place where you're doing the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
That's the audience you're in front of now. That's what's changed.
That makes sense. Because
You know what I
you
mean?
really can't be like, hey, I'm going to tell my 500 followers that you guys are wrong. They're not there with you.
Well, it's whoever's paying your salary.
Yeah.
So if you have 5 million followers and they go, hey man, we're about to jump ship on this thing, then you have a decision to make.
Yeah.
But the audiences now are the audiences. I understand when Seinfeld and Chris Rock say, can't play colleges anymore, it's too sensitive.
Very.
Well, then your act has, the audiences are different now. And your act is, maybe it doesn't fit with these audiences now.
Okay.
But those guys, they're always going to have an audience.
Oh. Yeah.
They're going to, instead of college campuses where a college board pays them 100, whatever, 30,000, whatever it is to come in, then they just don't do those shows. Then they make 50,000 now at a theater full of people that want to pay $50, $75
from all over countries,
Yeah, they
all
wanna see
over
it. Yeah.
universities that are just like, hey, let's go
Exactly.
see Dave Chappelle.
Their fans will go. Dave Chappelle's fans, Seinfeld's fans will always pay as much as whatever the price is because they love them.
Yeah.
And they'll go and they'll know, like, you know what? He's gonna say some crazy shit tonight, and I'm ready for it, and I can't wait.
That's what I'm going for.
But if your audience is you want to skew towards a younger, but then we'll see. Will the young audiences now, a college audience, and these audiences are evolving in their own way, when they meet the mass audience, like when that starts becoming more blended, we'll see how it evolves. But the comedians now that want to do college shows and want to have their peers as their audience, those audiences will come up with them, and maybe things will evolve that way. And in 10 years from now, we'll be like, remember Dave Chappelle?
Like people do that now where they're like, remember that bit 10 years ago? I can't believe people can get away with that now. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's a different time change. Like it's just an evolutionary process, if you want to call it that. But literally with even entertainment, you don't see it the same way anymore. People are like, oh, it's all about 20-second videos now. You just watch a 20-second video and you're intrigued right now.
Yeah.
But then,
As opposed to me, you know what I watched today? YouTube videos of improvisers from the 50s doing a 10-minute bit.
yeah,
It's so good. It's like the best wine.
it's just like a great sink in.
It's so good. And then I go, you know what? I wonder if you could still do that. You could, even in the world of improv, which is often just witty and you just try to you undercut your scene by saying a dumb joke rather than playing the truth of it.
Yeah.
I'm getting very snobby. But you know what? If you look at it as humans evolving, maybe this is a giant lurch in one direction and we got to correct it. And you can't have such sensitive outlooks. But what's great at the end of the day is maybe it's people are all evolving towards acceptance of everything.
Then that might be the sense too, like the whole uniformality of just like, well, I mean, maybe it's offensive, but everyone else isn't getting offensive, so there's no reason to be offended by it. Because I feel like it's a group thing too.
Yeah.
Such a like oh, my group of friends don't like this. I kind of like it, but all my group of friends keep saying that it's bad.
Well, then, I don't care what my friends say.
But
Whatever I like, I like.
That's so crazy. That's you and me, obviously, individually.
I don't care what anyone likes.
We're talking more of like the masses and stuff, the people we're trying to appeal to.
Sure, but that's also careful. You got to be careful too. You can't create stuff with like, I bet they'll like it. You have to create the stuff you like, because otherwise, I would never put on a suit and get it in front of an audience and just improvise, because I'm like,
they'll like this.
They'll like this. No, they're like, what the hell is happening?
I like that mentality though. It's like
you have to do what you like, and the audience comes to you, and that's art. Because if you go, because I'm guilty of this. When I wanted to do Ships so bad when I first did Ships as a solo act, I'm like, because I know those audiences, because Second City had many contracts at sea, and that's how I was like, oh, I know these audiences.
I can do this,
I know, and I did. But then I was like, wait a minute, you're just creating stuff that you think they'll like rather than being true to yourself. Because then an audience smells it. Like a dog smells fear. The audience is like, I don't think this is true of him.
And I've seen that so many times. Like, it's all about the confidence level of how you present yourself on stage. Like,
Yeah, but it's also truth. Like, if you're on stage and you, like, if I'm on stage right and I say, oh man, last night I was doing all this cocaine, and it's clearly that I'm doing it to set up my joke or whatever, the audience still is like, I don't believe that. This guy wasn't doing cocaine.
Okay.
You know, or if I'm like, I get so much action, they're like,
Do you?
I don't think this guy gets a lot. This feels like he's trying to be something he's not. The audience will know.
Yeah, okay.
They're a fine, even when you think this is a bunch of dumb rednecks, they're a fine-tuned meter when they're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's why Richard Pryor, that's why aspects of Amy Schumer, that's why they have that success, because the audience is like, this is from the truth. When Richard Pryor got on stage and talked about his grandmother running a whorehouse, like, that's pure pain and stakes. And they're like, oh, this is, he just had that thing. It's the best. He might be the best of all time.
Just being able to present
Well,
it
he talked about lighting himself on fire and stuff. You see he's honest and it's the truth, and the audience is like, it's crazy. But he also, there's a crazy, this is a conversation we could talk about the semantics of political correctness or sensitivity forever. But Richard Pryor is an example too. He went to Africa and he saw black people across the entire spectrum of society. As opposed to America, when he came up in Peoria, Illinois, it wasn't this case. But in Africa, the president's black. The counselors are black.
The police officers.
The lawyers are black.
Everything.
The police officers. And he goes, there are no N-words here. And he said that to himself. He goes, I'm never going to use that again. So there's an example of someone who made his living in his, hey, well, audience is going like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. And then he came back and he goes, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Interesting.
He evolved. So if we all evolve, then maybe controversy comes from a different source rather than using like the F word or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting talk. Thanks for having me, man.
That's a way to end it. That's for sure. That's awesome, Cody. You're awesome.
Oh, you're awesome.
I really do want to have you back, though. Like,
I'd love to. When I can talk about these cool things, I was very fortunate to do.
Dude, we didn't even scratch the surface of like anything. Like,
Yeah.
we have alien talks on here. I don't know how much of a believer you are.
I got some alien stories.
Some conspiracy theories out there.
Don't care for those.
An Alex Jones fan when I was 17.
You were?
I was.
I like this kind of
such
stuff.
a big
Which,
Alex
you know
Jones.
what? I can totally understand.
Infowars.com.
I can totally understand it.
Oh man, it's horrible. But yeah, there's so much things to talk about, man, and
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
totally love to have you
This
back.
is a great thing, man. I'm very impressed by what you're doing. I had no idea, and I'm glad you're doing comedy. And do what you want.
Don't be a crutch.
Don't worry about the stupid crutch thing. Do what you think is funny. If you think taking a guitar up there and pouring your heart out through a comic perspective and the guitar accentuates that, that's what you should do. You shouldn't. There's no one that, don't listen to anybody that tells you it's a crutch. Those people are not at the level to be giving advice.
And at entertainment level, they're not there yet.
No, a pro would never worry about someone else is doing. Unless the act before you, their whole act is bubbles, and you're going to fall down when you take the last step.
Oh
I've
my
had that
God.
happen. Then you got to maybe say, like, hey, listen, Bubbles, we got to have a stagehand come out here.
Dude, I was on America's Got Talent, but for TikTok.
You were?
Yeah, I was top. I made it to top 32.
Well, you're way more famous than me. That's awesome.
And that's horrible because obviously I'm not doing so. I'm just like you. Like all my friends have just surpassed me already.
Nah, that's because you're caught up in fame. But the key to your fame will be doing stuff that you think is good.
But I lost to a bubble blower.
Of course, they're tough.
It was horrible.
Can't beat a bubble
I
blower.
was like, I'm shredding this guitar, and this guy literally blows a bubble, blows 6 bubbles around it, and does a merry-go-round.
I know
was
that
like-
guy. And then he takes a separate straw and blows so the merry-go-round spins.
Dude, it was
I've seen it.
amazing.
I know that
I
guy.
was like, how the hell?
Wait, was it an older ponytail guy?
No, he was actually probably maybe my age.
Oh, then he's ripping off the older ponytail guy.
That's probably
the original guy.
yeah.
That guy's nuts.
Because again, this was like America's Got Talent, but TikTok version.
Ah.
So they were like a lot more millennials and stuff like that.
My bubble story was it was a German magician who his specialty was he makes things float.
Whoa.
So he blows a bubble and then he controls the bubble and blows a bubble and then he controls it. He makes it float where he wants it to. It goes in the air. It comes back to him. It's crazy. But when you work with bubbles, there's a film of bubbles everywhere. So the act that I was doing at the time, I had dancers, and so one of the dancers came up, slipped, busted her ankle.
No.
Horrible. I had to get her ice after the show. Very cute. But
did the show go on?
The show always goes on.
The show must
So
go on.
unfortunately, I'm continuing on. I see this dancer stage right limp off into the wings, and I'm like, oh, what's up with Sandy? But yeah, bubbles. That's the only thing you got to tell the performer.
No bubbles.
Maybe you shouldn't do bubbles.
Oh man. Anyways, any shout outs, anything, anywhere you want them to know you're good
Oh
in
yeah,
doing?
I'm super excited. I hope a lot of regional people listen to this because tomorrow night, Revel Nightclub. Let's say 7 o'clock. I think doors open at 6:30. I think that's true. Friday night, super excited. Cities of Gold. These are great lineups, by the way, too. I'm super excited about Revel because a Native American comedian named Ernest Sosi is going to be there. I'm looking forward to meeting this guy. There's a whole story there. And I'm looking forward to working with the other gentleman as well, but I'm really looking forward to Ernest Sosi because he's from the Four Corners area. And then Friday night, it's Cities of Gold with 5 great comedians on one bill. Can you imagine that? $10, you get to see 5 different comedians in a casino. I'm so excited. And then Saturday night, the Apothecary Lounge downtown on the plaza, you hipsters.
Did you have you done the Cities of Gold before?
Never have.
Whoa, so that's your
I can't wait. I heard it's fantastic.
It has
I tell you, if it's a Zacabeta joint, it's gonna be great.
Right here.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for getting all my times correct. Oh, there it is. These are all the bills. Ooh, yes. Oh, I knew this one already. 7 to 9, 2 big shows. The Apothecary. That was El Paso. Cities of Gold. What time does that say?
This one says it starts at 7.
7 o'clock. I can't wait. And then Revel is going to be a great night too. I think the doors open on that at 6:30. But thanks so much for having me, man.
Dude,
thanks for letting me play your guitar.
You guys are awesome.
It's like touching another man's woman.
Dude, you would never understand the feeling that he's giving me right now. You guys are awesome. You guys know what to do. MuseMe TV. Just Google that. I swear to God, I'll be the first thing that pops up. We'll have more guests coming in here shortly. Guests on Friday. And also make sure to check out the Twitch stream because I'll be twitching after this. You guys have a good one. Be awesome. And remember to be funny. You guys are sweet. Peace.
Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Thank you.
What a great setup.
Dude, I'm very happy.